Said whatever buzzword you all want, for business growth.
Put on your collar.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great. And I've had a chat with, I think, almost all of you. It's so fantastic because in this group here, in this small group here, I've met a gentleman who attended my wedding. Right? And said, Rahman, I just had a chat with him. He attended my wedding because he was friends with my late father-in-law. And I've got my gym bro right behind. Right? We don't go to the same gym anymore, right? He's on the cutting phase. Used to be really, right? And it's so amazing, right? And of course, I had a chat with Nimish, who is a seasoned professional in the sales and marketing field. Farhan, who's been in business for 17 years. I'm really excited to hear your stories, okay? At any point of time, if you guys got insights, you guys got questions, you guys got things that you want to clarify, I might not be the one who might have the answers, but I'm pretty sure that amongst us, we got collectively 50 years of experience, and we probably can get some insights here. Just to manage a bit of expectations, 3 hours, I won't be able to double click on many things. Off the top of your head, I'm sure most of you guys are thinking about how can we talk about AI, right? How can we go into the nitty-gritty of what tools can I use? Like lead gen, are you going to talk about Apollo or something like that, right? What kind of copy works? I'm not going to go through this kind of stuff, right? So in a 3-hour class, I'm just going to provide a big overview of how these two things, how these two pipelines, sales and marketing, which used to be kind of separate, right, are now joined together. Okay, and hopefully in 3 hours, you get some perspectives that I hope I can provide. Is that okay? Is that okay? Okay, great. Okay. I've heard that successful trainers, they start their class with an ice-breaking activity. Is that right? It's been a while since I've attended a workshop before. I can see the level of cringe in your face, right? I can see it. I can sense it, right? Right? I heard, right? Isn't it like you guys got to do an activity? I've been told. Okay, so I thought about it, so don't worry, I thought about it. Okay, now, I was finding a place. So we're gonna do the case method a lot, right? Case method a lot because it's quite fancy, right? Much some like Harvard MBA, right? Case method, right? But I think it's the best way to learn, right? So I'll tell you a bit more about myself, right? I will kind of self-elaborate about where I've been and stuff like that later, but I thought it would be good for us to do this first. About an hour ago, I was finding a place to sit down, right? I remembered how I do not miss the hustle and bustle of lunchtime crowd, right? I do not miss it at all, right? So I was going around Tanjong Pagar finding a place to sit down and have coffee. I do not want to go Starbucks or Coffee Bean because I don't want to pay $5 for kopi o kosong, right? So I had to find a place where they had coffee. So I came across this place. Coffee to go. So you guys can go there, right? I'm actually promoting. I just inked a commission deal with them. Every coffee sold through me, promo code Firdaus, I get 30 cents, right? 140, not bad lah, the rates. So coffee to go is, I think, a new chain. Again, it's been a while since I've been to International Plaza, right? There are 2 ladies in front, right? Owned by 2 ladies, and they are canvassing people to come. You know, canvassing, they say, hey, come, like. Yeah. Hello, sir. Would you like coffee? So they are canvassing people to come, which is amazing, right? Because in the hustle and bustle of Tanjong Pagar, I was their only customer, right? So if you go to Coffee Queen, this was just about an hour ago, they were packed, right? So I thought Coffee to go had a growth engine problem, right? Coffee to go with this small coffee chain. So this is my laptop, this is the thing there. Coffee to go had a growth problem. Because I think they've been around for maybe about a month. Maybe, I'm guessing, I'm assuming. Maybe they just opened up. They had some seats not very comfortable. But they had coffee, reasonably priced. The coffee is about 140. It's normal coffee, right? They have friendly staff. But why am I the only guy who is there in the middle of a busy lunchtime afternoon crowd? Okay? So let's crack our heads. Okay? So I'm going to give you guys a problem. So this is the problem to solve. Right? I asked Gemini, what's the best way to start a class? After ice breaking, they said, give the class something to do. So I'm giving the class something to do, right? So this is what's going to happen. I'm going to split you guys up into 2 groups. Okay? Group A, Group B. Okay? The stakes are, right? I started my career in compensation consulting. I calculated people's pay. You know, at one point in time, I was in charge of the project that calculated Madam Ho Ching's pay, right? Executive comp benchmarking. So I know, right, the power of incentives. And I'm going to incentivize this. The winning group gets access to the pantry. Alright, okay, so if I give you guys a break, the losing group, please, must only stay here. But you cannot go to the pantry. I heard that I have the power to do that. So group A, group B. I'm going to give you guys a couple of flip charts. Just off the top ideas, okay? So here's a problem. This is your client. Coffee to Go is your client, right? Coffee to Go owner comes up to you and say, hey, consultants, how do I optimize my sales? I want more sales, right? I want more sales. That's that, right? And this is the question, and this is the order that most of your bosses will tell you. I want more sales, but I don't want to spend a lot of money. Right? Sounds familiar, right? In fact, that's a story of my life as well, right? I've never been in a big company, apart from my early stint in management consulting. I've always had to start companies, sell them off, start companies, sell them off, right? Some companies come and find me, like just a couple of 1 year ago, I sold off an esports franchise for a Singapore company in Malaysia, right? I am at the intersection of 0 kilometers per hour to 60 kilometers per hour, right? Some of you guys have been in big companies. You guys have gone from 60 kilometers per hour to 150 kilometers per hour. I have not, right? But I've been in that space many, many times whereby you had to track fast. And in order for you to track fast, one of the things that you do not have access to is budget, right? I don't have a multi-$100,000 budget. I have to find ways to optimize my budget, right? So very similar here. I want to hear your thoughts, right? What would be a growth playbook for Coffee to Go? Okay, let's assume a couple of things. Let's do a bit of data here. Feel free to chime in. How many cups of coffee do you think Coffee to Go sells a day? Let's make some assumptions. 200? All right, 200 cups. So the boss says we are at 200 cups now. Okay, I want to, in 3 months, okay, 5x my number of cups, 5x. So I want 1,000 cups. Okay, right. And they said, okay, find a way for me to do this in 3 months. Okay. Before we start, what would be some of the questions you want to ask the boss? Yeah. Yeah, one by one, let's go. So you're telling that, you don't want the consulting thing, forget it, right? Yeah. Ask me questions. I'm the boss. Ask me. Do I understand? Or I don't know. I just got this target in mind. I want you guys to figure out how to do it. Right. Okay. Let's go. Right.
Your opening hours.
My opening hours. Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay. My opening hours. Typically, they cut 7 a.m., 3 p.m. Maybe they close at 3 or 5 p.m. 7 a.m., 5 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. Okay. All right. Anything else? Data points? Yes, sir.
Any extra marketing budget for?
Fantastic. All right. So let's talk about marketing budget, right? So I sell this coffee at $1.40.
Price per cup.
Right? Yeah. Okay. There is this term which is at the end of the slide. So I don't know whether I'm going to get to the end of the slides. I'm going to skip a couple of terms. There's this term called CAC. Have you guys heard about it? CAC. So it's very important, right? CAC, which I'm going to talk right at the end, but let's bring it forward. What does CAC stands for? Customer acquisition cost, or cost of acquisition, right? They call it CAC, right? There is this guy right now. If you guys want to go online and you want to read up about all this kind of stuff, go and check out Alex Hormozi. Have you guys heard about him? Alex Hormozi is fantastic, right? I mean, he's fantastic for a gym roll. He's probably on probably on steroids, But Alex Hormozi, go and check him out. There's so much content. Hormozi. Sorry, my handwriting. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. One thing about me is I write very badly. I got undiagnosed dyslexia when I was younger, so I had to cope also as well. So Alex Hormozi, go and check him out. He talks about CAC, he talks about LTV, he talks about running a business. He's got a podcast. He's on YouTube. Okay, so So I'm giving you a resource, right? So CAC is cost of acquisition, CAC, right? Different businesses have got different cost of acquisition, yes, no? Yeah. Right, okay. Before we go into coffee to go, let's talk about who is in business, okay? Mr. Farhan, can I use you as an example, sir? What is typically your cost of acquisition for a client? What's your CAC? What do you have to spend on to acquire a client?
Time talking to them.
Okay, time talking to them. Okay, there's a bit of money there, all right? What else?
SEM.
Okay, SEM, all right. Either you maintain yourself or you hire an agency to do it, so that's money there.
Events.
Okay, events. I would imagine events would be quite a sizable amount of your cost. Fair bit, right? Okay. Okay, give me one more if there's any.
Discovery events.
Okay, so events still, right? All these things, right, divided by the number of customers you have is cost of acquisition, right? That means this is how much you need to spend in order for you to acquire a customer. There are industry standards, right? The industry standards. Like for example, in the field of ed tech, right? If you go pure online cold, that means you go out there cold. You don't know anyone. You're going cold email. It's about 50 to 100 cost of acquisition. So it really depends. Your job as an entrepreneur, as a business guy, again, is to reduce your CAC as much as possible. Cost of acquisition, right? Okay, coming back to this. Okay? So, one of our classmates asked, what is the cost of acquisition? How much money do you have to spend? So I'm going to break it down because I don't know the coffee business. So the guy said, hey, you know what? For me to acquire, I put my rent, I put how much to pay my staff. For every $1.40 that I sell, okay, again, the numbers are going to look weird because I'm not in the industry. Let's say my cost of acquisition is about 80 cents. Okay? 80 cents. Because it's Tanjong Pagar, maybe a bit high. So he's saying now, what's my marketing budget is, hey, per cup that I can sell, right? I want to spend about 20 cents to 50 cents. Okay? Maybe the numbers don't make sense because at the end of the day you break even, but I'm just giving you guys an exercise. So maybe this is the amount that you guys are working with in terms of marketing budget, 20 cents to 50 cents per cup to do any kind of marketing. Does it make sense? Okay, all right, okay. Any more questions? So what do we know so far? Okay, so this guy might not be so savvy, right? Coffee to go, 3 months, I want to grow from 200 cups to 1,000 cups. Some of you guys say, crazy, right? But he's willing to pay you guys. So he said, okay, my amount that I want to put into marketing or sales or whatever it is 20 cents to 50 cents per cup, right? I'll tell you a bit more about my business. It opens from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Okay, any more questions about this business? Because I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to discuss as a group. Anyone else got any questions? Sorry, what's that? Fantastic. Look at that, Miss Lily. She's asking the tough questions, right? Right? Is there a target audience in mind? Okay, right? I do not know. I just open up. I'm selling to anyone who comes across. My 2 salesperson, the 2 nice ladies right at the front, they're just welcoming anyone and everyone to come. Right? So I don't have a target audience in mind. Should I have a target audience in mind? I don't know. Yeah. Maybe you can recommend, you can suggest. Yeah, but good question. Right? Anyone else? Any other question? Yeah, so I'm spending about 80 cents all in, rent or whatever the stuff, right? So it's my cost of acquiring a customer, which includes the goods and stuff like that, is about 80 cents. Yeah.
Whether they're willing to change the product.
Very good question as well. So a big part about sales and marketing. So those of you who've been in sales and marketing, right? Sales, right? You know your biggest enemy is who? The product guys, right? I remember that I did a project once with DBS. It's such a funny project. So DBS credit management team, commercial credit. So DBS credit management team, right? Their boss came up to me and said, Firdaus, I have a problem. My relationship managers, they are not submitting the documentation for credit team to process. Tail as old as time, right? RMs and salespeople, they will sell, but they will not give you the documentation. The credit team cannot process this documentation. It might be revenue lost. How can we make sure that the sales, the RMs, submit proper documentation. So this was about 10 years ago. So me and my bright ideas, I said, you know what? Let's punish them. Right? I said, okay, RMs, if you don't submit your compliance documents in order, right, your commission minus 5%. Guess what happened? So human beings' behavior is really crazy. Guess what happened? Sales guys would kind of figure this out. If you're a salesperson, what would you do? You say, screw it, man. I'm not going to get the 5%, but I'm going to get so much more leads. So what happened was the credit department got a whole bunch of new requests, and the sales guy said, now I got permission to not submit compliance documents, minus 5%, right? So it resulted in that. So again, sales are a bit interesting how people work and incentivize. So coming back to that question as well, right? Knowing that sales behavior and everything that you have here. No ICP, as in no customer profile. I just want to increase my cups per day, right? Because I'm currently at 200, I want to go with 1,000. Product-wise, I'm open, but you know what? I don't have a huge product team, Mr. Jay. I've only got a small product team. I can make kopi o, right? But I'm not going to make a macchiato, matcha, latte. I can't do that. Yeah, I can't do that, right? But let me know within the sphere of kopi o peng, kopi o katai, all this kind of stuff. If there's such a thing as kopi o, I can. But I can't do those kind of matcha stuff. Yeah, because I can't spend so much on product. I don't have that. I have what it is. It is what it is. Questions?
Only focusing on over-the-counter sales, or also like maybe looking at corporate catering?
Fantastic, very good. Yeah, you know, so I love it when you guys ask this kind of questions. Questions are really your weapon, right? If you are here seeking answers, I don't think you get a lot of answers, right? I think you should be coming here with a lot of questions. If you get a project like this, if your boss or your company says, how do I scale? You got to be asking as many questions as possible. So Corinne has asked a fantastic question. Over-the-counter sales or online? Said, hey, I'm keen to go online sales, you know. I'm keen to have that distribution platform.
Or sometimes, right, if it's downstairs, right, then the offices here, they need to cater for corporate.
Yeah, so that might be your channel strategy. So please don't tell them, right? Yeah. Yeah. Cup sizes, I'll go with medium and large. 140 is maybe the large part. The medium maybe is a bit cheaper than that, right? The sizes don't matter that much, yeah. But medium and large, yeah, maybe those are the two sizes. Anything else? Competitor? Well, you can see for yourself so many coffee chains here, right? I got the atas one where you see young people or the Gen Zs mixing coffee or like mixologists. I've also got other coffee shops around here, right? Who sell the kind of normal coffee that I'm at. So actually, I have a space, right? The space can be an asset by itself, right? Starbucks, Howard Schultz, right? When he opened up Starbucks, he said the money is not in the coffee, the money is in the space. Right? People come, and now that theory is being tested, right? Because you got so many chains coming up, right? But when Starbucks came up, he said the money is in the space. Got to make sure people buy coffee and stay, right? Of course, things have changed, trends have changed. People don't want to stay anymore. Maybe they want to move, right? Coffee is, you know, they don't want to pay a premium. But they've got a space, you know? Yeah, I've got a space. Maybe you can utilize that. It's a small space. If there's something I can do about it, yeah, that's great. Anything else? Membership? Yeah, if that might be your channel strategy, so please don't give out your strategies away. Yeah, that's fine. I don't have a unique selling. I don't know what's my unique selling point. I'm just a coffee owner. I just have coffee. Maybe you guys can tell me what the unique selling point is.
So you only do coffee, you not think of expanding your product?
I'm thinking about how to pay my staff for the next 3 months. Yeah. Right. I'm sure there's a market. If not, I won't be coming in here. Right. I heard coffee is huge. That might be your channel strategy. Please keep it to yourself. Right. Yeah, that might be one of the ideas. No, okay, let's try this. Again, I'm not looking for a full out plan. Right. And in 5 minutes, there's no full out plan. I'm thinking about activating the thinking behind it. Right. And from the thinking behind it, then what we're going to do is we're going to map it out. And then we're going to map it out to the concepts that we're going to be learning, Okay, the concepts you're going to be learning, right? But at least it beats having ice-breaking activity where you guys have to move around, doesn't it? Right? So this is my ice-breaking activity. Again, the winning group, right, gets the the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to have pantry at Equinet during break time. Yeah. All right, I'm going to give you guys a couple of flip chart papers. I'm going to time you guys 5 minutes. I know it's a big group, so it's a good chance for you guys to get to know each other as well, right? I'm going to put the flip chart paper here, right? I'm going to put the flip chart paper with Corinne, because Corinne is somewhere in the middle. I want you guys to huddle, get to know each other, right? Amongst here is, a network waiting to happen. You guys can empower each other with the connections that you guys have, grow your businesses. I'm going to give you guys a couple of markers. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 5 minutes plus starts now. Let's get cracking. Let's go.
Hey, may I ask a question again?
No, it's good. Don't worry about it. I got it.
Your laptop. Lift up first. Your laptop.
Yeah.
Getting wet.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks. So much drama. Okay, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. How to reach the target of 1,000. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jasmine. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, hold on, let me just dry this out. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah, the participants gave me tissue, so that I'm cool with that. Yeah, so really good. Yeah. Sorry to make you guys work. My first preview class. Okay, great. Okay. Let's see this.
How much sugar I do here, the cow will never come home and I cannot milk it.
So that's one idea. But
Wow, lovely. You guys are such a lifesaver. Just want to let you know, this has never happened before. That is good.
process that is involved.
The preparation,
Yeah, again, another caveat, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is not a full out plan, right? It's not going to be a full out plan because I'm only going to give you guys another 3 minutes to do it. The process is more important, right? Yeah. Let's see how we think about it, right? Yeah? For sure, 100%. 100%, right? Right, for sure. Okay, one more minute, right? Then we wrap it up. 1 more minute, right? Okay. All right, let's wrap it up. Give yourself a round of applause. Let's wrap it up. Okay, sit down. Okay, let's go. Okay. Write your last word. We're going to go through it together. Write your last word down. Later, you're going to appoint someone to go through it. Don't worry, you're not going to be graded on this. I heard you guys are going to get a certificate today. That's okay, right? Regardless, you're going to get a certificate, right? Well done, right? Go, come down. That's my ice-breaking activity now. Okay, why this activity? I've been thinking long and hard about how I'm going to start this class, right? So one of the things I'm going to tell you guys is this, right? I'm sure some of you guys are in AI. You know, we've got some AI startups here. Everything that we do here can be done by an AI agent in less than a minute. 100%, right? It used to be, I was just talking to, Nimish. 1 year ago, maybe Claude was not so fantastic. Now Claude is super smart, right? Gemini is super smart. They can have contextualized marketing plans and stuff like that. Essentially, I don't need you guys, right? Essentially, if I know AI, I can prompt AI and they can give me a plan. I need you guys to execute as well. If I'm the client, I need you guys to execute. But what AI does not have is deep vertical knowledge. Deep vertical knowledge, right? Of the market, of case studies that's worked. And I think that's your advantage, right? So I want you guys to know that, right? In this world of AI and things being replaced and stuff like that, double click on your deep vertical knowledge. Right? I think that's something that I've seen over and over again to be successful for clients which have been adopting AI but still want to have human in the loop. Second thing is, you know, if you've been to a management consulting interview, unfortunately I have, right? When I was a young kid in my 20s, they'll ask you funny stuff like, can you tell me the number of how many tennis balls are there in the whole world? Have you guys heard about this kind of stuff? I mean, there are many variations to it lah. I guess, can you give me, estimate for me the number of leaves there are on a tree, right? There are interview questions like this, although they're getting less popular lah, right? 10, 15 years ago, it was all the rage, right? You want to go to a tech interview, you want to go to an investment bank interview, they start with those kind of funny questions. Can anyone tell me what is the net benefit of asking such a silly question? Can you guess for me the number of tennis balls there are in the world? Why do interviewers, in all their wisdom, last time ask this kind of questions? Can anyone tell me why?
Flexible thinking.
Okay, that's one, very good, right? What else? Is they want to, at that short span of time, see how you think, right? They're not interested in the answer, right? Who cares if the answer is 1,000, 1 million, 1 billion? They want to know how you think, right? You have to narrate how you think. Right? And there are classes that make millions of dollars just training people want to go into this kind of industries, right? They'll say, okay, let me guess, number of tree got how many branch? One branch, you know, this kind of stuff. So what does it tell us, right? Absolute answer, not that important. In fact, in the world of AI, yes ma'am, come. Right, you get, that's it, right? Yeah, over there. Or in front, Yeah. The spaces smells a bit like Nescafe. Yeah. Right? So what does it tell us also as well, right? Absolute answer is great, but way of thinking is also very important. So that's what I hope to have in today's class. I hope to give you guys a process, a way of thinking about stuff, right? Some of you guys might already know this. The details I won't be covering in this 3-hour class, right? So I want to see process. I want to see how you guys think. And you guys are all professionals here, right? The problem with having a lot of professionals in one room is that everyone has got an idea. 100%, right? Right? Corporate so hard. That's why you need to have a VP, SVP. You need to leadership is so important, right? Everyone's got to have an idea. But regardless, right, it's an exercise. So let's see your thinking. Let's see your process flow, right? Don't have to give me the right answer. Just tell me about what the group went through. How did you think, to grow revenue for this Swaku coffee chain owner who wants to go from 200 cups to 1,000 cups within 3 months? What is your plan for him? How does he develop his growth revenue engine? Got it? Okay. Which one wants to go first? Which group wants to go first? Group A or Group B? Group A. Okay, give Group A a round of applause, right? Very good. Brief. Okay. Anyone from the group, come. Give us an intro. Does it have to be long? Just 3 minutes and then you're done. Thank you so much, Krishnam.
Let's thank the trainer for the opportunity and speak for the training session. Our group say past, present and future.
Okay.
What is the past 200 cups? What is the present for 200 cups?
Okay.
The future is 1,000 cups. So from the team's consensus decision, after a good discussion, we came out with 5-step process. The
Okay.
5-step process to increase that is, one is making more awareness and visibility. Second is subscription based. Third is a video putting how they process the coffee,
Wow.
so on and so
I
forth.
see a video, yeah,
And-
wow, that's good.
And give a experiential to them with a food certification, like
Right.
it's good for health or something like
Right.
that. Your vitality.
You can tell Krishnam is a sales guy, eh?
Your,
Yeah.
your vitality will increase. Your skin will be glowing like a princess.
Oh,
something
wow,
like that.
that's good, that's good, that's good.
Increasing the shift, making the worker works 2 times with pretty
Okay.
girls sitting there coming for the coffee. 6th one, my idea is a microsite. They can think of a microsite in other places. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, right? Like McKinsey, he's going to charge $500,000 for this, right? And thank you so much for the Krishnam and this team, right? Yeah, fantastic. Okay, this group, anyone wants to come up? Same thing. Corinne, yourself?
Sorry.
Come.
Okay, I think for our group, we did a different approach.
Okay, fantastic. Love it. I love it when you have different approaches, right?
That we
Come, let me
focus
just.
on the different channels that we could go on rather than a step process like this. So the first channel we look at is to give corporate discounts to companies in International Plaza or around International Plaza.
Yeah.
Another one is to have loyalty card program. You chop, and then you get your
Yeah.
10 card free.
Yeah.
And then we also look into having delivery orders.
Yeah.
So we will generate a QR code
Yeah.
so that for like say a minimum order, we will do free
Yeah.
delivery to
Yeah.
the offices around here.
Yeah.
We can also have corporate catering apart from over-the-counter sales and
Yeah.
all these individual
Yeah.
sales orders. So we can put a poster at the
Right.
counter that say we do tea breaks and stuff
Right.
like that. The last one I came up at the last minute. So some people when they go to work in the morning, they stop by the coffee shop and get a coffee on the go. So one way to take advantage of that is that we go to the offices and we say, hey, every morning we will deliver your coffee order for you. So that's another channel that I think we can do.
100%. And give a round of applause to this team and Corinne. Corinne, help me. Sorry. Okay. I want to ask you guys a hard question now. If we do all this and if we are still broke, is it a possibility? 100% is a possibility. How many times in your businesses you guys have got, I'm not saying these campaign ideas are not fantastic, they are fantastic, right? Yeah. How many times have we gotten all these campaign ideas in a business and a startup, in an enterprise, and still we don't get the results you want? Got or not?
Yes.
100%, right? Then I want to ask you guys a question. What is the problem? If I can come up with, again, fantastic campaign ideas, right? Fantastic process, but yet I don't achieve results, then what's wrong? What's wrong?
Maybe we're not resonating with the target audience.
Okay. You're not resonating a target audience? Okay, all right. There's something there.
Maybe the issue is not marketing. The issue is your production.
See, Mr. Rahman is a product. It's a product. It's a product guy, right? He's the kind of guy who's going to give sales guys a headache, right? Good. So, in consulting, right? Anyways, I use a lot of consulting because even though I didn't spend a lot of time in it, it has impacted me the most because my formative years before I started a startup when I was 26, right? He said, treat the root cause. Don't treat the symptom. Have you heard about that? Yeah. Right? Treat the root cause, don't treat the symptom, right? Like for example, you get a headache. What's the root cause of my headache? Most of us take Panadol, but okay we're treating the symptoms, right? Same like in revenue growth also as well, right? We are treating sometimes the symptoms. And nothing wrong with that, guys. Nothing wrong with that. But what is the root cause? What is the root cause here, right? What is the root cause for lack of growth? If you want to talk about this, creating this revenue engine, what do we start off with first? Again, I'm not the only answer out there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm one of many answers out there. You go Google, I'm the least qualified amongst all the experts out there to talk about it, right? But I'm proposing our first step to be this. Are you ready? Okay, let's talk about it. And most of you guys already know about it, okay? So fantastic work. I'm going to talk about this Gene Grosser. So this is in tech sales right? Vercel, if you guys do not know, Vercel is a fantastic, one of the biggest growing, fastest growing AI companies. They are actually a database companies. So all this AI, right, when you do, right, you need to create database, right? When you actually have a product, you need to have a database to communicate to users, right? So last time we have MySQL, right? Facebook was built on MySQL, if you guys are tech savvy, right? MySQL means you got to go and create a database. So this is this generation's version of MySQL. You don't have to create your own database. AI create your own database. All the vibe coding is possible because of databases like Vercel. Gene Grosser, my personal role model, right? Because she was Chief Growth Strategies at Stripe, right? Why is she my role model? Because in one of the podcasts I was listening to, right, and I listened to lots of podcasts, she said this and I want to extract it out. Said, yes, you're selling a product, but you're designing the experience of being sold to, right? Sometimes, because we are sales and marketing guys, we look at numbers, we said, oh, how many people are, what's my views, what's my reach, how many percent convert, you know? At the end of the day, we treat ourselves not like an artisan. There's no artistry in sales and marketing. It's all boring stuff, right? I don't want to be working in a job where there's no artistry, you know. I would imagine myself in the future to be a carpenter. I want to create stuff, right? So think of sales and marketing as designing the experience of being sold to. And most products you need to be sold to. Insurance you need to be sold to. Trading you need to be sold to. Whatever stuff it is, right? So what happens? It starts with every moment. The digital ad, the first call, the whiteboarding session, the deck, the follow-up email. Each touch point should be intentional, sequence, and storybox, the way a product team would wireframe a user flow. So here's the perspective change. If you think that sales and marketing is all about pouring more ads, you know, it's all about, oh, we need to create more posters, we need to have more, right? It's not that. It's about creating the experience of buying. Some of you guys, I suspect, are really good at that. Right, in your businesses. Over years, you guys have developed the experience of buying. Okay? So that's what I want you guys to do. Now, what is the first step? The first step is this. Okay, so this is a couple of truths I learned along the way. I'm not going to touch on this. Another activity which will lead me to step number 1. Very quickly now, I want you guys to scan the room. Scan the room. This is an individual activity. Scan the room. Look at each other. Do a scan. And this is where vertical knowledge comes in. Okay? Yeah, look around, look at the people, right? Look at the people around you, right? People like Nimesh, this is what he's been doing for years, right? Looking at you and analyzing, okay, now second thing is, identify someone in the room that you want to sell something to, okay? So third thing is, look into your bag, your pocket, whatever it is, and find that thing that you want to sell to that someone. Or, okay, I got it. Or reverse it. Okay, reverse it. Even I'm getting the process wrong. So reverse it. So that process is find the customer, right? Which is wrong. Find the customer. So very good lesson, right? So even I thought about it. And then find the product, yes? Right, that's what I told you guys to do, right? look around the room, find the customer, and then find the product. Is it a good way of doing business? A bit hard lah, right? Because you don't have a product, you got to look at the customer, you got a big budget, can lah. I want to go the reverse, right? I want you guys to take a look at what you have in your bag, whatever products you have, because, there's a saying, you only fight with the army that you have. Correct or not? How many times I came to my product team say, hey, Firdaus, can my product be click, then the guy can check out. I say, can lah. Right, you just got to wait a couple of months for that, right? A couple of my product team will say, and my sales team will say, hey, the colors, can it be green? I say, it can be any color you want it as long as you sell it, alright? We are living with constraints. So it is what it is. You fight with the army that you have. So I want you guys to take a look at whatever bag you have, right? Take a look at an item that you think can be sellable to this audience. And I want you guys to look at the item and ask yourself who might want to buy that item. Again, I always try to go into customer mode. Even I got to hold my horses back, right? I want to take a look at the product. Take a look at the product. Go and look at the product, right? Find something in your bag. Take a look at it and ask yourself. Okay, got it? Okay. Now, we're going to do an activity after this. So, once you have it, right, what you need to do is, based on that product that you have, right, inside your bag or whatever that you've taken out, okay, your objective as a business, and imagine this is the market. It is what it is. It is what it is, right? Imagine the TAM is total addressable market, right? So this is another term, total addressable market. We use TAM to estimate market size, total addressable market. Venture capitalists, they will ask you for TAM. What is your total addressable market? Obviously, venture capitalists want to have a total addressable market which is high, right? They don't want to invest in a TAM market which is like 10 million for what? They want to go in TAM market in billions. The other downside to TAM, not downside, the evolution to TAM is SAM. What is your serviceable addressable market, right? Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes I jump a lot, so I hope you guys capture this. If you guys see me to slow down, I'm really excited to do this. Ask me to slow down, please do, right? So, total service addressable market means how much of that total can you actually capture, You put a discount to it, 10%, 15, 20%, whatever it is. So for you guys, that product that you guys took out from your pocket, from your bag, from your wherever, the total addressable market is all this. This is what it is. This is the TAM. This is the total addressable market, right? How do you create a TAM? How do you calculate a value for the TAM? Very simple, right? You ask yourself, how much is this product worth? How many people can I sell to? Right? Maybe 1K. This is my total addressable market. Okay, very simple. In this case, our TAM is small, right? So it's just this group. Okay, this product. Okay, and then I want you guys to start identifying within your TAM here, because I want you guys to go to that person, right? I hope more than one person can go to another person. You can have a group of 3 that you guys can sell to each other, right? No need to do yet. Who are you going to sell this product to within this total addressable market? You guys got it? Okay, so let me repeat the steps. You take something out from your bag. It can be anything. You say, this is my product. This is my TAM, right? Who within my total addressable market should I sell to? Okay, simple, right? 2 steps. Have you got it? So I ask you to look around. You got it? Okay, now what I want you guys to do is, very quickly, I want you guys to sit next to the person that you want to sell to. With the product in mind, with the product that you have in mind. Yeah. Okay, wow, that's fantastic, right? Okay. Yeah, just pair up. You can go across. There must be a product in mind. There must be a product, right? Okay. Okay. What are you all selling to each other?
I'm selling her a beautiful jewelry set.
Okay, very good. All right, very good. Okay. Selling that, okay. Find someone. Go across also as well. Go across also as well, guys, right? Yeah. I didn't imagine it this way. I imagined it to be a bit more fluid, right? Yeah, but I'm going to get to my point. You guys got it? Okay, what are you selling to each other? Markers, okay, right. Pen, okay, good. Okay, yourself? Okay, yeah, most of you guys chose the convenience of selling to neighbor, right? Singapore sell to Malaysia. Okay, very good. Get out. Okay, now. Okay, pause for what? Pause for what? Don't sell yet. Okay, I don't want you guys to sell. Most of you guys are so fantastic at selling. The moment you meet a prospect, you start selling. Right? Some of the best salespeople, and you want to ask, and if you want to pick up this skill, Farhan, I'm going to promote for you. Can we kind of negotiate a commission, right? If you want to learn the skill of selling, you got to go to Farhan. Why? His company teaches coaching. What's the most important rule in coaching, Farhan? What's the most important rule in coaching? Okay. Very good. The person you must sell must be able to buy, right? What's the second rule of coaching? You listen, right? The best salespeople, they don't talk, right? What do? They listen, they ask questions. So this is what's going to happen, right? The person that you are trying to sell your item to, right? You do not know whether he or she is the right person, right? You have a hunch. Correct or not? Because in this total addressable market, you have a hunch. Like for example, I think people from Philippines might want to buy. I'm not sure. I have a hunch, right? So then I go to the Philippines, I go to that market, and then I try selling. Okay? But instead of selling, right, I have to, number one, do what? I have to identify, I have to verify if that person that I'm talking to is potentially someone who might be interested in my product first. Yep. Yeah? Right? Okay, now it sounds like a waste of time. Yeah? But this leads to one of the key things. The starting point of our growth engine is creating what we call an ICP. You guys know what an ICP is? Okay? If you are of my age group, there's a band called Insane Clown. It shows my age. It's called Ideal Customer Profile. Now, this was birthed from tech. This is birthed from tech, right? Tech guys are full of acronyms. They got PLG, Product-Led Growth, right? Where they say, hey, product-led growth is all marketing. I don't need enterprise sales, you know? People are going to buy because my product is so awesome. The tech guys also pioneering this concept called ICP, Ideal Customer Profile. Over the years, we have validated that starting with a customer persona is your first step. Correct? Knowing who you're going to sell to is your first step. You know, because if you do not know who you're going to sell to, how do you know your channels? Right? So, reflect back again on this. Most of the conversations did not start with, this is who I'm going to sell to. And because this is who I'm going to sell to, this is what I'm going to do. You guys get it? Right? Why? Because you need to track results, man. Yeah? How do you know if your plan is not working? Like, for example, this whole group, again, this bunch of plans, which is so fantastic, right? You got so many marketing strategies and activities. This is usually what happens in a company, right? Which one are you going to execute first? Which one? If I ask you, because you guys got a limited budget, if you guys own this company, which one are you guys going to try out first? These are very real questions that enterprises don't have to answer lah, because they got budgets, right? Because they fail also, you know, they got a VP, SVP, EVP, right? But, you know, we are not enterprises yet, so you got to ask a question. So what's the best way to answer that question? The best way to answer the question is possibly, who are you selling to, right? Who is your target persona? Who are we targeting? You know, you said something along those lines, right? And then from there, the plan evolves. You guys get it? Okay, now. So the question is this. How do you identify your ICP? How do you know that that persona is ideal customer persona or profile? Again, it can be very technical. You guys go online, they'll say ICP versus persona. Let's not over-engineer it, right? ICP means the perfect customer for you. The kind of customer that will buy from you, right? My question to you is, how do you know? How do you know?
If your product is able to, if you think that your product is able to address a certain need of that person, then that's a persona, a positive persona.
Yeah. Yeah, how do you know that persona is going to be a customer for you? Because in my experience, right, I've met many personas, matches exactly my requirements, but they don't buy from me. Right? Maybe they don't buy from me because part of my ideal customer persona research, I never put into like buying signal. Maybe they don't have an urgency to buy. Maybe they don't have the budget to buy. So again, most of these things you guys know, right? But my proposition is, before we start marketing plans and we join sales and marketing together, the first thing that sales and marketing need to agree on is, who do we sell to? Right? Who is our ICP? Is our ICP definite? The answer is no. Right? Because if you are starting a company, in 6 months you're going to figure out, hey, actually that's not my ICP. You know? But now you have the results to prove that you've taken that off the list. Is the process going to look linear? The answer is no. Right? The process is going to look a bit messy, especially if you're small. Right? Halfway through it, there's a tendency to say, ditch this ICP lah, not giving us results, because when money is a problem, right? Let's ditch to another ICP. So that's why you guys got to be disciplined. Right? That's why you guys got to find different types of ICP as a hypothesis. So let's start this, okay? Without any tools yet, talk to your partner. What are the questions that you ask your partner? Don't sell. What are the questions that you ask your partner to ascertain if he or she is your ICP? So this is a bit of sales skills involved, right? So I'm going to pepper it a bit, right? So again, the question is, don't sell. What are the questions? Remember, in today's class, if you guys got more questions than answers, I consider my job accomplished, right? What are the questions you ask your partner to ascertain if he or she is your ICP? Got it? Okay, let's go. Right, have a conversation. Let's go. Questions here, guys. Questions, Don't sell. What questions are you asking him, Mr. Rahman?
I asked him whether he know about, because I'm selling this bag based on his exclusiveness. So my first question is whether you know what is sustainability development. Because if he don't, now he told he is not aware, that means he will not be interested, because to him this bag has no meaning at all.
Maybe he's not in the maybe he's not in the market to buy a meaningful bag. Maybe he's in the market to buy a bag.
He is in the market to buy a bag, which need not be.
But that's not your business. Your business is to sell meaningful bags. Okay, good.
Meaningful bag.
Good. Very good. How's it going? So tell me some of the questions you guys are asking each other. Okay. I see. Are you from sales, right? You sure? Right? Huh? How are you guys going? Okay? Good? Okay. All right, one more minute. All right, one more minute. All right, thank you so much, guys. Can I have your attention, please? Very good, very good. Come, please pay attention. Before that, before I start the class again, let's give yourself a round of applause. Very good, very good. 2 activities, so good, right? Look at that. I'm breezing through time, right? Okay, so let's start. Okay, later I'm going to ask you guys to share, right? So, this is sales and marketing growth engine that we're talking about. Okay, so I'm going to teach you guys a bit more about ICP later, right? I'm going to give you guys this insight first. So, it used to be marketing versus sales. Yeah, and they actually kind of look like this also as well. Marketing guy, the sales guy is like, you know, business like, marketing like, you know, very artistic and stuff like that, right? Where it branches off, right? You kind of know your persona, your ICP. What happened next, right? Then you are saying, oh, okay, marketing, right? You know who's our ICP. Go and find them. Then what is the job of sales? What does sales do? Typically, right? The marketing say, okay, I will do all the kind of activities, and then I will give you what? This is the goal that all salespeople love. Leads, yeah, right? And then salespeople say, okay, these leads I take, and then I convert them, I close them as dollars. So typically, this is how the process works, right? Usually, right, conventionally, sales and marketing sometimes don't have the same conversation. What I'm telling you guys now in 2026, marketing and sales, the roles are really being merged together. And here's the scary part, right? You've got tools like clay.com. You've got automation AI tools, right? N8N can join a couple automation tools, enrichment tools, lead generation from Apollo. It goes to an email tool. This whole thing is being done by AI now, right? In my own startup, which I'm running, right, I've got an open claw machine in my office, right, running this at limited API cost, right? It can sometimes go really high, but I'm automating this. The reality is that if you're a one-man show or you're a one-person department, right, big companies, they call it rev ops, right, revenue operations. And they think about it, the way we run operations, the way we run revenue, sales and marketing is actually one revenue guy. And there's a reason why I put, you know, a hard hat and stuff like that. Because this guy is increasingly analytical, increasingly data driven. And you know what they're calling this guy now? They're calling him GTM engineer. That's the highest, you know, that's the one of the fastest growing jobs out there. GTM engineer. Those of you who've been in the industry long enough, you know, you came from a salesman, account exec, you know, handle big accounts, to growth hacker, you know, and then GTM engineer, right? It's run not by marketing and sales people right now. It's run by, you know, people with comm science backgrounds, because they are getting agents and they're orchestrating it. The good news is it's not here yet. It's at Silicon Valley. You know, San Francisco now accounts for 1/7 of the world's wealth. It's amazing, right? Silicon Valley is so amazing, right? AI is all over there. Hate or love America, right? The heartbeat of innovation is there. So it's all the rage there. It's going to come to our shores. Already you read, right? Minister Vivian Balakrishnan, right? Well, I don't know whether it's true or not. He created the AI. You didn't read? You should read, right? Our foreign minister, he created an AI automation stack, right? That allowed him to have a online AI diplomat to take out all funny stuff, really cool stuff, right? It's all over X and all over the other Twitter threads as well. You need to be this guy. So it used to be marketing do different thing, sales do different thing. Now it's all joined together, right? What is the glue that joins them? Very simply, it is really having the conversation of, let's agree on who is buying and who is our ICP. Sometimes, a lot of us, we don't start with that, right? Now, marketing is going to do their marketing, sales is going to do their sales, and later we're going to see how these two roles combine with each other. But I just want you all to know, think of go-to-market, think of revenue growth, not as two separate engines now. Think of it as one engine, right, that sits next to each other, right? Traditionally in the world of marketing, marketing will say, oh, I'm giving you MQL. You guys know what MQL is? Marketing qualified leads. What does marketing qualified leads mean?
The leads that the marketing has already nurtured, that will be passed on to sales.
Yeah. So marketing say, hey, I've gone on LinkedIn, I've run the ads, I got 200 MQLs, marketing qualified leads that I'm going to give you, right? Sales, so it's so crazy, right? Sales will convert the MQL to SQL. And what is SQL?
Sales qualified leads.
And what is sales qualified leads?
It's a person that's already ready to be sold to.
Yeah. Can you imagine the process? We don't have time for MQLs and SQLs, right? You talk to marketing, marketing say this is a marketing qualified lead because I gave out a form, they responded to the form. And sales will take the time and talk to the guy and say, hey, I talked to this guy is a sales qualified lead. We've got no time for MQLs and SQLs in today's day and age, right? A QL is a QL. A qualified lead is a qualified lead, right? We got to work on the channels. Sales cannot say that is marketing's tai chi. Tai chi in Singapore means that is their problem. Sales must have ownership over the entire process. Marketing also must have ownership over the process of sales because a qualified lead is a qualified lead. Okay, we're going to discover how to actually create this growth engine. All right? Okay, now with that said, let's go back to ICP. Okay, so do I build a revenue engine? Okay. So, what are the key components of an ICP? And these are things that you guys can read lah. Right? I mean, you guys can Google. There are many things in classes now where you can just Google and read and watch YouTube, much better than having a trainer talk about it because it can be a waste of time for you guys. But I took this off somewhere, right? In fact, I made the slides out from AI, Yeah, I just want to be completely honest. The way I create slides now have changed, right? I used to spend 2-3 hours on slides. So now I pin down the thoughts, I let AI generate it, then I edit from there. So you can obviously see some formatting changes. Like this one, too good to be true must be AI. You see funny pictures, that's Firdaus, right? So that's my workflow, just want to let you guys know. So this is something, right? So we know this. How do you identify your ICP? Is, okay, who are customers that want to buy from you? What must be inside the ICP statement, which industry they are from, what's the company size, what location they are in, what tech stack, what growth stage, all this kind of stuff. I'm going to give you guys a short quiz later so that we can manifest this and see this. Now, easier said than done. Easier way to imagine this is the questions that you have asked just now. So this is me showing you the theory that can be found on Google search, and then this is me coming back to you, tapping on your vertical knowledge, on your years of experience. Like Mr. Rahman, he's got probably 30-40 years of experience in marine and offshore, right? So, but unfortunately, he's not selling ships lah. He's selling a bag today. What were some of the questions that you asked your potential buyer, Mr. Rahman, to identify if he is an ICP?
Because this bag is exclusive, so my question was whether he knows the sustainability development goals. Answer no. No further question.
Okay. Really interesting. I asked Mr. Rahman, because I heard them talk about it. I was about to be the smart-ass teacher and said, hey, Mr. Rahman, why you ask that kind of question? Right? And I said it to him, maybe you're in the business, maybe he's in the business of buying bags, not sustainable development bag. But then Mr. Rahman corrected me. Why, Mr. Rahman? Why was my question to you wrong? Because you are in the business of what?
Because my whole idea is to sell this bag based on its exclusiveness. Because anybody can make a bag, anybody can sell a bag, but my bag is so much different. Yeah, it is sustainability bag.
Yeah? Give him a round of applause, right? I being the pompous lecturer today, said, why? But I didn't realize he is in the business of not selling a bag, he's in the business of selling a sustainable development bag. So that's why the first question to ICP is, Do you care about sustainable development? Right? It's counterintuitive. Do you think so? Right? Because typically, if we did have this conversation, if Mr. Rahman and you are consultant to Mr. Rahman, how would you advise him to sell a bag? Say, go and find anyone who wants to buy a nice bag lah. Right? Then what happens? You talk to 1,000 people. Then what happened to the 1,000 people? 990 of them said, I'm not interested. 10 of them get on a call with you. Right? Smile at you. 5 said, I'll talk to management. Right? The other 5 said, not interested, thank you. The other 5 will take 6 months to make their mind up. And in the end, still 0. Right? Does that sound familiar? Sounds familiar. Those who've been in the trenches know how it works. Right? But let's say, Mr. Rahman said now he's very clear cut about he's not in the business of selling a bag, he's in the business of selling, sustainable development goals. So he finds 100 people who cares about sustainable development. Do you think it's going to be a different conversation? 100% it is. Yeah? Right? So that's why, it's a like simple concept, but a change in perspective allows us to be more targeted in our approach. Right? Okay, now I'm going to stretch your thinking a bit more. I'm going to stretch your thinking about a bit more. Now, Mr. Rahman said he's in the business of people who are interested in sustainable development. Okay, what's the second thing now that you want to talk to him about? Okay, he says, okay, my ICP is a person with an interest in sustainable development. Okay, right? What else do you need to have inside this ICP, Mr. Rahman?
He must be able to have money to buy my bag.
Oh yeah, 100%. Right? 100%. This is the other thing that we marketing and sales people always do. Right? We look at, I just ran Facebook ads today. I just had a call with my team this morning. I was a bit stressed out, right? Because I'm launching a new thing now. Right? Getting into the trenches back again. It's exciting. Chasing the first invoice is exciting as heck. Right? It's like an adrenaline rush. Someone used to smoke. Right? I was smoking for 30 years. Even now I'm thinking about Marlboro. Right? Yeah. And I need to chase that addiction with something else. So I thought, let's go back into the trenches would be a good idea. So today I look at my Facebook ads. We were targeting Philippines as a target country. Wow, 11,000 views. Wow, so good, and my ad budget so low. A lot of people are visiting. I look at my GA4. GA4 is Google Analytics 4. See, wow, people are landing to the landing page. I'm so excited, but 0 conversion. Right? 0 conversion. Have you guys been in that situation before? 100%, right? Why? Then I said to my team, look at the demographic. Let's see where they're from. And I said, we are targeting people 18 to 25 by my ads. Are serving these ads to people 55 years old and above. Right? So first of all, you got to be a bit more, you got to be very clear about your persona. Right? You got to be very clear about your persona. So in Mr. Rahman's case, this guy must have SDG interests. Okay? He must have money. Even money, you got to be more precise as well, right? How much money do this person must have, Mr. Rahman?
How much money?
Yeah.
This one is about $100.
Oh my God, right. Okay. How much money must a person have in order for you to sell a bag that costs $100 to them?
How much?
Yeah, how much money? What's your persona? Let's say monthly income.
$10.
Yeah. He's going to buy a bag that's going to cost $100 because he likes sustainable development goals. How much do you think you should have?
His monthly salary.
Yeah.
3K, 4K, 3 or 4K.
Okay. Alright? Okay. 4K per month. Okay. Okay, give me the third one. What is the other assumption that you've asked him? I mean, obviously you didn't ask him for his salary lah, right? I'm sure. But what were the other questions? Or you stop after he's not interested in this, you stop already? If you were to ask another person, what is the third question you ask the person? They say this one tick, this one tick. Does it mean the person will buy? Okay, what's the third question probably, Mr. Rahman? Okay, so help Mr. Rahman here, right? Because as you can tell, this conducting an ICP is not a one-day process, it's not a 5-minute process, right? It requires you to talk to your team, requires you to analyze your customers. It's a lot of heartache, it's a lot of aspirational thinking. There's a lot of asking of AI. Again, we are shortcutting this process, but I just wanted to show the process again, right? So Mr. Rahman had the process. He knows his product. The person must be interested in SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. The person must have minimum amount of money, 4K he had in mind. What is the third thing that you think Mr. Rahman needs to ask people to ensure that that ICP profile is formed? Age group? Okay, age group, all right. What else?
What do they care about?
Okay, what do they care about? Okay, good. What do they care? Okay.
Socially conscious and not just on like the corporate side of the SDG.
Okay. Okay, so again, so this is great, right? Because as you can see, the more granular you get, the more mafan and leceh it gets, but the more targeted you have an idea of who you're targeting. Now, how do I know when my ICP has been reached? Let me tell you my secret, and it's a very low-tech one. When I close my eyes, I can imagine the person. Right? If I close my eyes, I imagine genericness, my ICP not formed yet. Right? If I close my eyes, I can imagine the type of person, right, that would buy the SGD canvas bag. I am more confident, right, that I've reached my ICP. Very, very, iffy, very, very woo-woo, right? But you can go all the way deep, right? And you should, based on all these kind of things. But yet, after you've gone all the way deep, all that remains is data, not conviction. Yeah? How many of you have been flooded with data before? All of us, right? Paralyzed by analysis. Having data is important. Having conviction is important. How do I, tell myself that I found it? I close my eyes, I can say, okay, if I want to sell my product, that is the ideal customer that I want to sell to. I can imagine how he or she looks like. I know where he or she stays. I know where to go to get hold of this person. I have conviction and data that my ICP has reached. And then I start creating a marketing plan. Still very woo-woo lah, you know what I'm saying, right? Like, this is not science for us, right? Based on feeling, right? But sometimes what we need is conviction. We don't need more data. Have the data, and then have the conviction, right? Okay, let's have another one. Give a round of applause to Mr. Rahman. Very good. Let's have another one. Let's go here. Okay. Nimesh, what were you trying to sell to?
That she was trying to sell me an umbrella.
Okay. What were the questions you same process to ascertain whether Nimesh was your ICP?
Asking whether he believes in products sold by charities.
Okay.
And whether he thinks it's a fair thing to sell products through charities.
Okay.
And whether if let's say it costs $20 to feed the special needs person who made the umbrella, would he pay for $20?
I see. Okay. So does he fit your ICP? Yeah, right. Very good. Fantastic. Give them a round of applause, right? Okay, now let's do something for your business and for your endeavors, for your companies, for the companies that you run. Take out a piece of paper. Write who is your ICP right now for your company, not the fictitious thing that we are doing. Based on the questions that we've practiced, write down, right? Let's give a bit of time for us to make this practical for us. Who is your ideal customer profile that will buy my product, all right? And if you got more than one product, think about the product that you want to sell, okay? Put in I'm going to give you guys about a few minutes. Write down your ICP, right? And if you've not written this down before, then please write it down, okay? Because the ICP is essentially like your starting point, okay? Some of you guys are asking, what if I already have customers, right? Like most of you guys already have customers. Then you take a look at a couple of things, right? You want to target customers who are top performing, right? Who's got high NPS. What's NPS? Net Promoter Score, right? These are the guys who you ask, can you refer me to someone? They'll refer you, right? When on a scale of 1 to 10, you put in a feedback form, how likely are you going to recommend me to someone? The guy puts 9 and above, 8 and above, that's high NPS. Means he is your champion. He's going to refer you, right, to people. These are the kind of people that you want. Be very careful also as well, because there are people who love you, right? And people who need you. Sounds like a relationship course, right? because most of you guys run your own businesses, the power of your businesses depend on your personality. Those of you who run small businesses, right? The power of your business is driven by your personality. That's why they say founder-led sales is really powerful. If you are starting a company and you're not selling, you're not marketing, please don't start a company, right? Doesn't matter whether you're Facebook, you're Mark Zuckerberg, or you are Jeff Bezos. They all started and they all needed to sell and market, right, in their own way or form. It's called founder-led sales. So some of you guys are starting your company, you guys got clients, and if you're small, medium businesses, most of the time, that clientele, there's a percentage that love you because of your personality, right? Because they're attracted to you. And that's important, right? That is the core of being a founder sometimes, right? You got that energy. You got to distinguish yourself, Maybe I need to find people who love me, but I also need to know people who really need me, right? People who maybe don't talk to you so much, right? And in this world, there is this principle called the Pareto principle. Have you guys heard about it? Pareto principle, right? Yeah, 80-20, Pareto principle. Pareto principle was discovered by this economist, right? Who discovered that actually 80% of your clients, of your revenue, comes from 20% of the invoices, right? 80-20. Of course, plus minus. If you're only looking for people that love you, right, you might miss out the 20%. Some of these people, they don't even talk to you. Those of you who sell high-ticket items might say, some of my best clients that pay the most never make so much noise. They just pay the amount. Those who are the smallest of my clients make the most noise. Sound familiar? Right? Yeah? I got a fund manager who said, my institutional clients, they're okay with the quarterly report. Right? My limited partners who, high net worth, put in money, they're the ones who bug me every other week. Right? So again, a paradox. So find people that need you, right, as much as people who love you, right? So if you really have customers, identify that. Have you written down your ICP? Right? Who's your ICP? Okay, very good. Next question I want to ask you guys. Are you targeting your ICP? In your business right now, are you focusing on targeting the ICP? Put up your hand if you say yes. Okay. The rest of you know? Then who are you targeting? Everyone else except the ICP, right? If you're not targeting the ICP right now, then there's a flaw in your tactics, right? Yeah. How many of you right now has got a 6 months plan to funnel that ICP from awareness stage all the way to interest stage? How many of you? Put up your hand. Very good. Right? Some of you guys who are coming into companies, who are being hired, maybe that's the first question you need to ask your boss. Right? Who are our best customers? Do we have a plan to attract more of these kind of customers? What's our 6 months plan? Right? So that's ICP. So ladies and gentlemen, time check, right? It's 3:22. We've endured about an hour and a half of me talking and doing various funny activities. Let's go for a short coffee break, right? Which group won, by the way? Oh yeah, this group won? Yeah, they self-declared that they won. You guys were a bit slower. So y'all cannot go coffee, yeah? Cannot please, I'll be watching. Don't go, I'm just joking, right? Let's go for a 5-minute break, right? And then toilet break, 3:30, we come back and we start again. All right, thank you.
how long does it hold? What becomes the relay order?
You can also buy online. Many different
What did you do? MQL, SQL expert. Right, what do you do?
I'm into consulting,
Right, okay.
with cadence culture, and we do organizational development,
Ah.
transformation.
Right, okay.
So that sort of thing. So
Fantastic.
more
Okay, got it. Okay. Got it. Talk to. Okay, come guys. Okay, come. Let's settle down. Let's play a quiz. Guess the ICP. Guess who's the person, right? Industry. This company targets this profile, this ideal customer profile or persona, right? Again, if you guys go to the internet, right, you guys read, they'll say things like ICP is company, persona is person. Technically, it's true, right? Essentially, you want to identify who would buy, and in the organization, who in the organization would have a conversation with you, right? But let's treat it both the same, okay? So, can you want to make a guess? Prizes. Let me give out prizes. I got no prizes. I didn't come prepared. I know, right? Yeah, I'll ask Dylan to give some prizes, right? Prizes is a cert. Prizes is a cert. Okay. Any guesses? Who's this ICP? Industry, role, pain point, signal. Tell you about the signal. Signal is the buying intent. That means this is what they do in order for you to identify that they are already buyer, right? These guys are willing to pay 30% premium for an ecosystem that just works and looks minimalist on a mahogany desk. Any guesses?
Guess the brand or
Guess the brand, yeah. Guess the company.
nicer?
No, good guess. Yeah, and when you guess, you can understand the category. Yes. Sorry? Omnidesk, very good, right? Yeah. Who said Apple? Apple, right? Yeah. But you can see, categorization-wise, yeah, there are people who are also targeting the Apple type of customers, right? Yeah, but this is Apple. Give you another one. Guess the ICP. Maybe a bit more easier. This one a bit more local, right? Secret Lab, very good, right? So Secret Lab's ICP, high income earner because it's more of a signal, right? Back when everyone was on Zoom, you need to see Secret Lab, right? Behind it's a signal, right? It's more of a luxury item as a signal more than comfort, right? So Secret Lab. So also look at how the ICP classifications, how we have categorized the ICP, the kind of meat that goes into it, right? The kind of meat that goes into it. Let's go with another one. Carousel, yeah, right? Carousel, right? I've heard from young people they call carousel hell. Is it because it's hard to sell stuff? Yeah, so carousels I see and might not be accurate, right? Might not be accurate because carousel has got different ICPs, right? A company would have grown, right, so that they have different product categories, right? They sell differently to different people. Right? Then they'll say, oh, okay, this is one ICP, this is one ICP, right? And then if you are big enough, of course, right, then you try to have teams that tackle each ICPs. People like Carousel, they sell to multiple people, but this is just as an example of one type of ICP that Carousel would create, okay? Okay. Any questions that you guys have at this stage? Any questions you guys have at this stage? I got one question from one of our participants or students in his class. I think it's fantastic, and I'm going to answer that question and also want to hear what you guys think, because collectively, like I said, if I combine the number of years of experience that all of you guys have, I think it will be close to more than 100 years, right? Any questions that you want to ask at this stage of the workshop? Anyone? Okay, so the question that she had, maybe you can kind of say it out, because then it's come from the horse's mouth.
Okay, so I'm just curious.
Sure.
So just now, the gentleman, I forgot his name, sorry, that you were trying to
So-
sell tea, right?
Okay.
And then like I was just wondering, like, let's say you ask the first person, and then the first person say, no, I don't know this, or like I'm not interested. So is it then when do you move on to the next person to find out whether the next person is the ICP, or are you supposed to target this ICP, potential ICP from another angle that you go in?
Okay, very good. Very good question. Okay, anyone got any insights on that? How to answer that?
You know, the nurturing. If you think this is, this is the first touch point, so you don't really know if you can convert this person, if you get him interested at some point. So you try the nurturing if it's worth it for that particular person, and then see what
Okay.
comes out after that.
Fantastic. Pause for a while. Explain to us what lead nurturing is. So there's another term that I'm not using, but she's using. So this is fantastic, right? Lead nurture. What is lead nurture?
Because we're looking for this in MCQ, marketing qualified lead. So now it's
Yeah.
one, merge into one. So let's just call it lead. So lead nurture is you have a target audience, an ICP that you have in mind, and then you try to ensure that at every engagement you have a level of you engage that person in different touch points.
Okay.
From the beginning, awareness, and then move on to the rest of the steps.
Okay, fantastic. Right. So lead nurture essentially is you sayang the lead lah, right? You sayang the lead, but you don't want to sayang is Malay Singaporean term for you enrich it, right? You give it value. But the problem sometimes with over enriching, over nurturing is you waste lots of money, right? You wanna. So this is why people pay you guys, right? This is where the systems kick in. You want to nurture it, right, in such a way by which you know you got all your bases covered, but you're not overspending. Give you a case in point, right? This latest startup that I'm starting, right, it's just been a year. I'm selling an education platform. It's an app, right, similar to the LMS in Rahman, right? But I'm selling it to universities in Southeast Asia, tier 2 universities in Southeast Asia. That's my ICP, right? So what is tier 2 universities in Southeast Asia? We talk about in the Philippines, the Visayas region, right? Bacolod, not Metro Manila, right? Metro Manila, so people like Bukit Non University, Buksu, right? Because one of my target markets is Philippines, right? That's the campaign that I'm running now. So I said, okay, this is my ICP, I want to reach out to them. So what I'm doing is I'm running a cold email campaign, right? And concurrent to that, I'm running Facebook ads that target the professors. But I'm not asking the professors to respond to me via the Facebook ad. I just want the professors to have multiple touch points, right? They read my email, it's retargeting, right? They think, oh, you guys are doing something, and I keep them into that loop, make them think about me, right? Even when they sleep, right? The problem is I'm spending a lot on this. I'm not seeing results. So the question is, now this is new product, new market. Should I ditch? Should I stay? Very easy if you say, just follow a system lah, right? But what's your advice to me?
I think you should have ambassadors in the Philippines, because Philippines is very relationship first.
Yeah?
So, you should also do that.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, you have to really be able to meet with this so-called champions of,
Yeah.
people that's in the space.
Yeah.
And then have an interaction with them, and then see what's the best way in.
Yeah.
So that's like.
Yeah, see, I teach and I get free consulting advice. how amazing, right? This is about asking the right questions, right? So even, I just want to say, right, even for me, it is, we have to have, so lead nurture means, okay, what are your touch points, right? So first prospect comes. And again, this is different. I'm going to ask Phelan later. Because Philan, you're still in property, right? So I imagine that in property, you get a lot of people who come in and you got to sieve them out, right? And yours is high touch, right? This is high tech. What I'm doing is I don't even see these guys. And that is the problem, right? I've got a team in Philippines where I've got to send them to these places, right? I don't even see these guys. So my touch point, let me tell you by my lead nurture, right? Based on the startup that I'm doing, right? Okay, cold email. I used to say demo, right? But that is bad because no one wants to have a high, you know, it's a lot to ask for. Come, go and do a demo. So I said, okay, I offer them free online event for the university. I nurtured, so this is my lead nurturing. Whether this is correct, I'm not saying this is correct, right? This is what I'm doing. Third point is I give them 6 months access, right? So this is lead nurturing. I'm nurturing the lead. I hope at my final touch point, because all this is done with the expectation of buying the sale, right? Ask for the sale lah. Because when I sell to universities, the biggest problem is board of governors. These universities make decisions very slow. They want to see results. Same like enterprise sales, right? So this is my lead nurture. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? The problem is after I've done 1, 2, 3, they might not even sign up. And I will spend money here. Right? Is that your question? So when do I know when to stop? Is that the question, right? Yeah. So well, it is a business cost. Right? I got to figure it out.
You don't know, it's a risk.
It's a risk, yeah. You know, that's why you have A/B testing. That's why when you say go a campaign, commit to the campaign for 6 months, run it through, see the results, right? You got to fail fast, right? But you cannot be too erratic to change. So I am the kind of guy, my sales team hate me because I'm erratic to change. I took a look at today's results on GA4. I said, no, we got to change. Then one of the guys that I've been working with said, you just got to chill, man, right? Just wait to see the results. Yeah? And I think I agree. I said, okay. But, you know, as a co-founder, as an entrepreneur, fast to want to see results. I want to go back into philosophy, right? There is this statement written by one of the best books ever, right? My Atomic Habits. Who wrote Atomic Habits? You guys have not read Atomic Habits? Farhan, you haven't read Atomic Habits? You haven't read Atomic Habits? Oh my God, I thought you were in the coaching business, personal development. You know what's the name? What's the author's name? This guy. I was hoping you would know, right? Who knows the author of Atomic Habits? James Clear, right? So pick up that book. It's one of the best-selling books. It's like the personal development book of this generation. So you guys got Alex Hormozy, you got James Clear. So the guy is really good. He's got a saying in the book. He said, be patient with results, but be impatient with action. Right? Be patient with results, but be impatient with action. So you must be doing, right? You must be testing out different ways of reaching the ICP, right? You must be experimenting. You must have the conversations with your team. Hey, what else can we do? What else can we do? But be patient for the results. Results are not going to build up over 3 months. It's going to take a runway. Okay? So that's one way to answer your question. Right? You get better with it over data. You analyze. One way to do it is lead nurture. Right? You know when your leads drop off. The other way is to have a fantastic sales guy. Right? A good salesperson would get you a yes or no. Maybe should we nurture or should we not? How many of you have worked with fantastic salespeople before? Put up a hand. Right? Okay, very good. What made them fantastic, Farhan? Apart from asking questions and all, what was it about your salesperson that you worked with that was fantastic? Yeah, fantastic, right? So whether got hope or no hope. Yeah. I got mentored by one of the managing director of Microsoft. Right? I wasn't in Microsoft, but I was fortunate enough to be in that ecosystem where I got access to these mentors. One of the things I'm very grateful for. He gave me a book, and I want to give you guys this, right? He said in Microsoft, right, and he led sales, right? He was an old sales guy. His name is Henry Lee. I just met up with him yesterday, right, for lunch. The book he recommended, and I want to recommend to you is Let's Get Real. It's called Mahan Khausa. I think the name of the author is Mahan Khausa, and the name of the book is Let's Get Real or Don't Play at All. Right? I'll get the title right. I'll give to you guys. And I got a Kindle version of it and I read it. It's about the salesperson having the ability to tell the prospect, deal or no deal. Let's get real, right? Asking the questions like what Farhan said, right? Whether this guy, asking the set of questions to qualify the lead. Now, if you do not have that kind of salesperson, you need to be that kind of salesperson, right? Especially if you are founder type, you must be marketing, you must be sales, right? So again, a good salesperson helps you extract whether it pays to lead the guy on, right? Or should we cancel the guy halfway and say thank you, come back to me, when you guys are ready, right? And why are salesperson the best person to do this? Because they are incentivized by commission to see this through. Yeah? So a salesperson will say, hey, I do not be entertaining the guy for 6 months and I got 0 commission, right? I want to make sure that I'm optimized for getting commission. So sometimes having good salespeople incentivized the right way gives you a very, very good way for you to lead nurtures as well. Right? Unfortunately, not many salespeople are trained well. That's another thing altogether, right? Okay, so that's that. Now I want to ask Phelan, because Phelan, right, he does property sales, high touch. Right? This is all high tech. I don't touch. In high touch situations, Phelan, how do you tell no-go or no-go for a particular prospect? What's your process?
The body language.
Okay.
Yeah, body language understand. Mainly for high touch is really when you ask them something, you ask them more questions to understand what's the outcome that they want rather than just focusing on their fears. And then from there you see what are the pain points, what kind of situation they're in, but then the way that they present themselves, whether they're even certain of what their problem is the first thing. Yeah, and then understanding basically their body language, like if they are very close or you want to share too much, then you know that they're not that ready. Yeah.
Okay. So what Phelan said, right, is what we call buying signals. Now in the world of high tech, there's buying signals also as well. Right? Imagine like for me, right, I am selling a software solution to Southeast Asia. Right? I need to know what the buying signals are. For Phelan, because he's so close to the client, he can tell what the buying signals are. Positive body language, positive yeses to your questions. But what if in my case, what are my buying signals? Anyone? This is where it gets a bit very, very interesting. When a professor talks about AI, that's my buying signal. Yeah? When a professor declares on LinkedIn, and he talks a lot about his students going into the graduate world but not being employed, that's a buying signal, right? A buying signal could also be, right, they have just hired a head of IT. Those are all buying signals. Those buying signals in a non-high touch environment can be quite tricky to get. There are softwares to do it, right? Apollo and all, right? But a very quick way for you guys, go on LinkedIn, sieve out, right, those people that displays your buying behavior. Let's say, for example, if you're selling AI, for example, Farhan is, I think, very likely is already doing this. People who are in the market for buying coaching certificates, what are usually the buying signals, Farhan? Yeah, right? People are saying, I've always coached my colleagues, but I never had a framework, those kind of stuff, right? You go on LinkedIn, you go and find, without investing in, expensive software, that's your buying signal already. For high-tech cases. But for high-touch cases, you can hear it from Phelan, right? A lot of one-to-one. So that's a long answer to a question. I hope I got some meat to the answer. Right, yeah, okay, fantastic. Okay, yeah, let's go on. Let's move on, right? Let's go into channels now. Oh my, I got 1 more hour. Okay, so we go. Let's go here, right? So how the process works is this, right? So first of all, ICP Next question is, where are they? Yeah? Let's not complicate things. Right? You talk about lead funnel lah, you talk about top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. It's confusing as heck. Right? Sometimes I don't understand it. Middle of the funnel, got so many parts of the funnel, right? So I want to break it down to you because I struggle with this as well. Who are my customers? Where are they at? Make sense? Right? Who are my customers? Where are they at? So this is what we call, right, the funnel, right? The traditional approach is again marketing and sales, no shared goals, disconnected, no handoff. Both of them are probably have got their own ICPs. Marketing already thinks that this is the best way to target people. Marketing is optimizing for views. Sales is optimizing for sign-ups. You know, they all got different types of strategies. So if you're running an organization, right, and if you are marketing or if you are sales, get your counterpart in the room, have the same conversation, right? If not, your boss should be doing that because this is 2026. If you're not doing that, there are companies that are already automating this using AI. Okay, so now it's about marketing and sales together having that conversation. Now, this is where we talk about the 3 stages of the funnel. Okay, and again, there are 3, there are 5, right? Some books say 6, right? You know, so much stuff. But think about it commonsensically. This is what happens, right? First of all, they want to know, oh, you are there, right? It doesn't matter whether it's high touch or high tech. You need to know, oh, you are there. Awareness, correct? So that's why, and again, I struggle with this. I've got a LinkedIn profile. I've got quite a number of followers, but I bluff one because I keep on asking them to join me when I was much younger, right? That's why I got about 2,000 plus, but I've not posted up any meaningful content. I struggle with that. But the best way for you is organic content, right? Talk about yourself. You know, in Y Combinator, you guys heard about Y Combinator? Y Combinator? How many of you guys have heard about Y? Okay, how many of you guys have heard about A16Z? Okay, A16Z is one of the biggest venture capital firms, right? A16Z is one of the biggest VC firms, right? They have invested in OpenAI and all this kind of stuff, right? A16Z is fantastic, right? Go and Google them. They've got a website for resources on all this kind of stuff. A16Z, right, is a venture capital firm based in Silicon Valley, but recently, over the past 1 year, they said all the founders that they are going to invest millions of dollars in must take the lead on awareness. You cannot outsource it. You cannot outsource it. That's what they say. I'm going to give you money to outsource it, but if you're going to have the mentality that someone else is going to solve your awareness problem, I'm not going to invest in you. These are the latest AI startups. A16Z. Check it out. There's an article on that, right? Last year they did like a launch of this initiative. Awareness is yours. Awareness does not belong to sales, does not belong to marketing. It belongs to revenue. It belongs to everyone in the company. Companies like HubSpot, companies like Stripe, everyone in the company post something on LinkedIn or Facebook, on IG about what they are doing. You know? So I want you guys to know, awareness is not about finding a social media agency. Okay? It's going to be so expensive to find a social media agency which don't even know your stuff. Right? You want to go to 0 to 1 million, you got to do it yourself. Awareness belongs to everyone in the company. And awareness is all about, hey, I'm here. Okay? Second is, this is where the lead nurturing comes in. Right? People know you're around, then you need to find a way to nurture them. Say, hey, come, have a conversation with me. Come and talk to me. Right? Nurturing can be 2 ways. Inbound, outbound. What do you mean? Outbound means, say, hey, I saw that you read my post. Would you like to have a conversation with me? That is what? Inbound or outbound? I put up a LinkedIn post. Okay? People comment. I go to one of the commenter. I knock on their door and say, hey, thanks for the comment. Would you like to have coffee? Maybe not a good message. They will kind of ignore you. Right? Depends on who you are. Is that inbound or outbound? Inbound or outbound? So you're going to the person. If you're going to the person, like you're knocking on person's door, it's as good as me going to everyone at International Plaza, knocking on the door. I'm doing outbound. Okay? Now, how else can I create interest? Okay, so awareness, for example, a simple example is I put up a LinkedIn post, then all the people that commented or all the people that liked, I one by one with a proper message, right, say, come and talk to me. What's the other way of creating interest? Anyone? This is traditional digital marketing. If you guys been to like digital marketing courses here, I think they would have taught it lah. Changing also as well. The other way is what? Say, hey, I've been writing about AI. I've got a white paper. No one reads white paper. I've got a free tool to give out. Fill up the form. You know? Might not be the best way. I'm just telling you. We're not going to focus on the tactics. Again, we're going to think about the thinking. Some of these things you guys might already know. So that's interest. So there's outbound. I go to you. There's inbound. You come to me. Right? And this is where the power of AI comes in. Why? Because last time it took, right, a team of people to write proper outbound copy, yes? And proper inbound copies and lead magnets. This guy quite stuck up also sometimes, right? Very hard to work with creative people, right? Yeah. You know, they say, no, my idea. Now AI does it and iterates for you really fast, which means in 1 week, if your outbound not working, change to a different message almost immediately. Right? So that's what it does for you. Okay, now, awareness, interest. Okay, if you've got a sales and marketing team, who does these two things? Who does these two things? Sales or marketing? You can call marketing lah. Then where do sales come in? Awareness, interest, and then comes the closing. Right? And that's why salespeople are paid by commission. And they can be paid well, like Phelan, look at that, right? You can ask him. Yeah. Yeah. Because the art of closing is difficult, right? This is where the human touch point comes in. You meet with the person and you try to close the sale. Again, this is if it's B2B. If it's B2C, the process might be very different, right? So the 3 stages are as such: create awareness, create interest, and close. Okay? In other texts, you see top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, whatever it is, it means the same thing. Any questions here? Any questions here? Okay, now, the devil is in the details, right? Because the next thing you want to ask is, where do we go? What do we do? Right? The devil is in the details, right? That's why Napoleon said, amateurs talk about strategy. Napoleon Bonaparte said this, right? Professionals talk about strategy. No, amateurs talk about strategy. Professionals talk about what? Can anyone complete this line for me? Napoleon Bonaparte said this. Amateurs talk about strategy. Professionals talk about something similar, logistics. Right? Napoleon Bonaparte, arguably one of the best strategists of our time, right, said that the devil is in the details. Anyone can talk strategy, but if you want to talk tactics, that's where the meat is. So this is the tactics part. This is where you got to double down. And we know that we need to attract attention, right? We need to bait them in, and then we need to convert them, right? The question is how? And on a limited budget, what do we do? So how do we answer this question? Like, if let's say you guys were targeting, you guys are doing something, you got SEO, you got social media, you got PR, what do we do first? What is the answer to that? If you're at stage 1 awareness, right? You are directing your firm, and then your staff comes to you and say, boss, these are the ways by which we can create awareness, right? What do you say? Do digital first, okay? All right. How do you answer that question? What is the budget? Very good. What else? How do you answer that question?
Which ICT do you want to focus on?
100%. Let's give her a round of applause. Give her a applause. Yeah. Before we talk about budget, before we talk about digital or non-digital, and the touch point of non-digital is getting very, very, very premium now, right? Events are coming in a big way as well, right? The first question you ask is, where is our ICP? Where do they stay? Where do they live? Where do they consume this information? Right? That's the starting point. That's why we have ICP right at the start. Does it make sense? Right? So again, your staff or your team or yourself said, there are 1,001 things we can do. Which one do we start with first? right? Conventionally, people will say, oh, look at our budget, look at what is most exciting, look at, this kind of stuff. But you should be the one who's disciplined enough to tell your team, where is our ICP? Where are they at? Where are they living? Where are they breathing? Right? Some founders, some people that I've worked with, they go into TikTok just for the sake of going to TikTok. Right? But their ICPs are on Facebook. So don't chase novelty, don't chase trends, don't chase what your other person who's got no skin in the game will tell you. Chase your customers. Right? That's the message that you have to go. So even when we chase our customers, we've got to ask ourselves, okay, our customers, right? This ICP, right? Okay, what kind of content do they like? So everything into awareness and everything into interest, right? This whole pipeline here, right, is contextualized to your ICP. Now, how do you do that? In the world that was just 2 years ago, you would have to hire a social media agent, an agency. Who does that? Right? Or if you're an enterprise team, you've got a marketing team that does that. That's why they hire analysts and all this kind of stuff, right? In today's world, you got artificial intelligence, maybe at a higher level, instead of Gemini fast, go Gemini thinking or something like that, right? Who can develop this for you quite well. And it's the power of AI now. That actually AI is your marketing team. You don't have to wait for people to come. You don't have to hire anyone. You can immediately prompt AI and they'll give you a plan. But this is where the human in the loop comes in. You have to come in with your vertical knowledge, with your taste to say, this works, this doesn't work. Okay, this makes my ICPs like that, You have to curate it. You cannot take it up. I was talking to a CEO of a consulting firm, right? I asked him, which staff do you sack in the world of AI and which staff do you promote? You guys want to hear the answer? Yeah? Okay, he said this. He said, very, very clear, right? If they are fresh graduates or, not senior level people, if they tell me, boss, I went to ask ChatGPT, who is my ICP? And this is what ChatGPT told me. Those guys will be sacked. If they said, boss, I went to ChatGPT, ChatGPT recommended these things for me, right? I took a look at our past customers in the past, I cross-referenced them again, and then I took out the ones that were similar, and then I ran another prompt to confirm that these profiles are the same. Said if the person is using AI as a strategist, those guys will be promoted. If the guy uses AI as a decision-making tool, those guys will be sacked. Does it make sense? I thought it makes really sense, right? Now, to a young fresh graduate, that's a skill they have to learn, right? That's a skill they have to learn, right? And unfortunately for them, fortunately for us, because maybe we're not so young. I mean, there are a lot of young people, young-looking people here, right? We cut our teeth, right? We were given junior roles. We had an opportunity to be screwed by a boss, yeah? I remember my first boss, Ang Mo Leo, right? Every other day I would stay until 2 a.m. in the morning, right? Yeah. But then honed the vertical thinking skills, right? They allowed us to be more valuable now. Young people nowadays, there's a different struggle that they go through. Yeah? So if you want to use AI to make decisions for you, you're not going to be advantageous. But if you want to ask AI to be your strategist by your side, that's the way to go, right? So don't make decisions via AI. Let them compound the strategies for you. Okay? I hope that makes sense. So these are the three things: awareness, interest, and closing. Now, let's go into a bit of practice. Okay? Okay. So here's a bit of a broad overview. Again, there's so many reach channels, right? And so many conversion channels. And again, this is like a 3-hour exposure. This is a 3-hour exposure. So I'm not going to dive deep into it because we've got less than an hour, right? But just some ideas about where to search. After this workshop, right? Say, Firdaus, I want to go into the tactics. I want to go into the meat. I'm just giving you some of these things, right? So for example, channels which give you maximum visibility, without a shadow of a doubt, we all know broad social media campaigns, out-of-door display advertising, PR and media placement, sponsorships, all cost a lot of money, right? High visibility costs a lot of money. right? Again, if you are strapped on a budget, nothing beats organic reach. The whole team must own reach, right? The whole team must own reach. Not only marketing and sales, your product also you must post something. There's a company that has done really well. Have you guys heard about this company? Cluely. Heard about it? Go and Google it. Go and watch it on YouTube. Cluely is started by this young guy, a bunch of young people, right? They are funded by A16Z, right? A multi-million-dollar company. The founder is 22, right? Drop out from Stanford, right? Go and Google them, right? And then you find this guy called Ling Long. I'm not kidding. Ling Long, right? You can Google them on YouTube as well. The whole strategy, what does Cluely do? Cluely is like Otter AI. Have you guys heard about it? They come to your meetings and then, they transcribe your meetings. They spend zero on ads. All they do is organic posting. Right? Ling Long is a character that they created that is a satire of the engineer. It's damn funny. The young people are watching this. They get millions of views. All they do is push out funny YouTube videos, but they are a tech company, Cluely. They've doubled down on that, right? Go and check it out. Look at how they produced it. Now, why? Because they made reach the entire company's responsibility, not only marketing. So I think this is 2026. If you are running a company and only the founders or only the salespeople, only marketing people are doing social media, then you got it wrong. Everyone needs to do it. How do you create a system for everyone to do it? That's a different story altogether, but it's everyone's responsibility. Conversion channels, right? Search advertising, you know that, Google search. Again, I won't double click on it. It's quite technical, won't be able to accomplish it in time. LinkedIn ABM campaigns. ABM campaigns are campaigns that has got a very personalized reach. High personalized reach, right? I think it stands for action-based marketing, right? Which means I personally email the guy with a customized email. Say, hey CEO, I read that you recently hired a head of HR, right? I can cut, HR processes by 50%. We've done it for AY's ABC company. Very targeted. And maybe you send a CEO a personal letter, whatever it is. So action-based marketing is for high-ticket items, right? Direct outbound sales, cold emails, right? There are lots of platforms right now you can access to cold emails. Referral programs are the best, right? Here's another thing that one of the top salespeople in a company that I work for told me. I asked him, when is the best time for me to ask for a referral? Can anyone answer that question? When is the best time for me to ask for a referral from a client?
When the client is satisfied with your work.
You resolve their problem.
Yeah, and when you've already done the work for them, and they're satisfied, and usually you do a debrief, after the program or whatever campaign, usually you them for a meeting. So like a post-campaign meeting. So by then, that's a good time.
Okay. So this guy, and he's been doing it and he's been seeing results. He said the best time for me to ask for referrals is when I have not delivered the project, but I've closed it. At point of closing. Say, thank you so much for the business. I'll get my tech team to kind of handle your request. By the way, do you have anyone who you would like to recommend me to? And he said, fantastic results. Again, so all these kind of things are science and an art, right? You got to figure it out. For some industries, it might be different. Right? Some industries it might be different. For some industries, it works fantastically well. For buying purchases by itself, right? A consumer, what goes on in their head when they buy an item? First of all, they have interest, right? Awareness, right? They are aware of your product. Then they are interested in your product. And then they buy your product. Is this the end? When was the last time you guys bought something which was not too expensive but not too cheap? What happened when you bought the item? This is really crazy because human behavior is crazy. Didn't you guys go to Google and ask yourself how good is the item after the purchase? Did you guys do that?
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah, human behavior, right? Not all of us do that, right? Yeah, not all of us do that, but I've done it recently, right? I bought something and say, how good is it? I bought myself shoes. How good is this shoes? But I really bought it. So I'm saying that it's not a common template. You got to look into your customer journey, how your customers are talking to you, what are they like, what is the ICP like, and then optimize it, right? Again, it's not one size fits all approach. Then you might just say, hey, actually the best time for me to ask for a referral is here, not conventional advice right at the end. You guys get it? Because conventional advice is they say after the deal is over and they're happy, and then you ask for the referral. Have you guys done that before? I've done it before. 9 or 10 times they ghost me. Right? Do they ghost you? I get a lot of ghosting also as well. If your clients are like that, maybe there's something about this journey. So that's the thing I want you guys to think about, right? Distinct reach channels and conversion channels. You've got these points, right? But again, contextualize it to your product, contextualize it to your company, contextualize it to your ICP, figure out what works, okay? Map it out. Okay, all right. Okay. So here's a set of questions, ladies and gentlemen, that can help you choose the right channels. First of all, it starts with where does your ICP spend their time, right? Again, very ICP driven, right? What is their buying intent signal? What shows? Now you know where they are at, right? What shows that they are interested? What shows that they are interested? What is your budget and CAC target? And later we're going to go through data, CAC, right? What is your budget and what is your customer acquisition cost, right? And most importantly, if you've kind of gotten a sensing of all these things, need to make sure that you're able to test and iterate quickly. Do A/B testing, make sure that your messages are hitting the right notes, make sure that you are tracking data. These kind of things are important because the first 6 months of setting it up is an experiment, and then once you know what works, you double click on it, right? You double click on it, right? But this is an experiment, and then you double click once you see results. You don't see results, you pivot, right? But you got to stay true to your ICP. There is a conversation that you need to have with your team that maybe we are not targeting the right ICP. That conversation needs to happen, but doesn't need to happen 1 month into the experiment, right? Again, be patient with results, but be impatient with action. Okay, so that's that. Okay, I want to go into this case study, which was, I think, promised in the write-up. How do you have a sales and marketing conversation? Okay, actually, when I frame this, actually it looks like how do you have an executive conversation with your team? Let's try this out. Okay, so the challenge is this, right? 200 leads per month from LinkedIn ads. It's not too bad. 200 leads a month, I would die for that, right? 200 leads a month from LinkedIn ads, right? But only 2% conversion rate. Now, if you are getting 200 leads a month from LinkedIn ads, means you're spending a lot. LinkedIn is horribly expensive. Yeah? If you're getting 200, you're spending a lot. And if you're spending a lot, conversion rate matters. It's like that one, right? Only 2% conversion rate. So sales say, hey, I only convert 2%. Means the 200 people that you're giving me is low quality, not ICP. Marketing say, actually you lousy sales, that's why you cannot convert, right? So there's a marketing problem and there's a sales problem, and both of them are arguing. And this is where, right, the growth engine, the revenue engine concept comes into play. How would you solve this conversation? How would you solve this? You have sales and marketing teams under you, and they are fighting with each other, and they are saying, you are wrong. Yeah. How would you do it? You've been in this situation before?
$1 question.
Yeah, you've been in this situation before. How does this happen?
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Okay.
So, how do you qualify the leads? How do you sort of rate the leads so that both sales and marketing agree quality of leads on the table?
Okay. So first of all, right, sales and marketing. Okay. So we are proposing right now in this course is called revenue engine, that actually instead of having 2 silos, right, we are saying it should be 1, right? That's an. So question people ask is, when we are 1, what do we talk about? What must we continuously agree on? We understood just now for many times I've repeated. What was that? What's the first thing that needs to ICP? Okay. But that cannot be the only thing, right? What else must be in this common box here? Okay, and you are suggesting? Okay, sales funnel. Okay, I'm going to put it here. So later we're going to check whether it falls under sales funnel. Okay, what do you mean by sales funnel? Sales channel or sales funnel?
The funnel, like, it's when you are looking at whether slow follow-up is a valid reason, it's part of the sales funnel.
Yeah, I think you've got a point there, but I'm a bit confused about how does that connect. Yeah, so re-explain it again.
So if we look at the whole sales funnel, whether it's working smoothly,
Okay. SOP? What's that? Okay. Explain a bit more. Explain. What do you mean SOP? Right.
Yeah, for me, first thing is review the campaign first. Because they spend budget, they spending on the making ads, right? At first we need to review whether the marketing is targeted to the right ICP or then target all the campaign direction, everything is in line with sales. Yeah, so review the ads ready, then review the SOP for the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, I wouldn't say it's wrong. Anyone else?
Both sales and marketing might be right at the same time.
Yep.
Okay, just on back to the sales funnel, right? What marketing might be doing is that they are targeting the ICP, right?
Yep.
But the ICP is at the top of the funnel, which is people who are at the awareness stage. We have not even brought them over to the consideration phase. Whereas what our sales is trying to do is convert them at the decision phase, the last phase.
Okay.
So on top of the bottom of the funnel, there's a very big gap, and maybe that is why there is a wrong conversion.
Fantastic.
Let's see what happened with the ad.
Very good. Anything else?
And maybe targeting like what channel specifically?
Okay, so
channel
process channel. Okay, fantastic. Anything else?
I think for us, I'm 19 times, so we always say this. So you can see that in a way we're just trying to justify the past always ensure that there's one criteria there. Yeah, so which means you already qualified the needs before you pass on to the sales, in order not to increase the sales. So right?
Okay, process.
When you use the one criteria, it means that it has already reached another stage, that there's really such a need in the budget and the timeline as well. So that would further streamline, in the company there's no time to go.
100%. Very good. Okay. Yep.
Would you want to look at what is the cost of customer acquisition? How much are you spending per lead?
Yep.
What is the quality of that lead?
Yep.
What is the overall lifetime value of the customer?
Yep. Okay.
The dollar value?
Yep.
How much is the conversion rate?
Fantastic. Got it.
Things like that.
Now we are confused, right? Okay. I love this. Yeah.
You know, some of the them are in the
I feel like I'm talking to a marketing and sales team now. Right? Okay.
are they problem aware?
Okay.
Or are they already know their problem? They're not even aware that they have
Okay.
a problem, you know?
Okay.
Then you tackle it differently.
Okay.
Depending on where they are at in terms of their awareness of the
Right.
problem, the stage
Right.
of where they want to be at.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing.
Fantastic. Okay. All these said, right? All these said, I'm going to give you a framework of thinking. Again, today's class, right? I started off with process and stuff like that, right? If we dive into the details, we got so many things that we can cover. But I'm going to give you guys a process later. I'm going to share with you how I think about it. I mean, it can be a bit woo-woo lah. You think about it, close your eyes, can think about ICP. Those kind of things are very important, okay? But you're right. Everything that our classmate said is right. We know that these two people need to talk, right? Talk about what? That's the thing, right? Okay. Now, let me give you the concept of leading and lagging. Okay? What is leading indicator? What is lagging indicator? Okay, now, so it's a bit more complex, but this has changed my mind, right? Leading indicator. What is a leading indicator? And what is a lagging indicator? Like, for example, right? Lagging indicator. Okay. Profit is leading indicator or lagging indicator? Profit. Profit. Leading or lagging? Now, profit is lagging. Why? By the time I know my profit figure, I cannot do anything about it. Yes, no? Right? Q2 profits come in, say shit. Right? We are in the red, we die. There's nothing I can do to reverse that result. Right? That's lagging indicator. Right? Traffic light. Red is a leading indicator or lagging indicator? Red. Red light. Is it a leading indicator or lagging indicator? Lagging. Yeah, by the time I see red, I say, shit, I gotta stop, right? Yellow on the traffic light is leading or lagging? Leading. What is the magic on leading? Yeah. Okay lah, you don't want to speed up when you have a yellow light lah. But you can, or you can slow down, right? So leading indicators allowed us to take action. A lot of times when you have sales and marketing conversations, we have strategic business conversations, the conversations are lagging. Said, why like that? You give me, why like that? The quarter has passed. The company needs money. These conversations are happening at end of Q2. Are you kidding me? Imagine you are the entrepreneur, you're paying all their salary. You'll be berserk, right? The conversations between sales and marketing should be centered around what? Should be centered around leading indicators. Now again, framework of thinking, yeah? Framework of thinking, right? What is leading indicators that we can have a conversation about? That means if I see it, I can change it now. Okay? Imagine your sales and marketing team comes up to you and say, hey boss, Q2 man, out of 100 leads, we didn't manage to convert anything. Is it leading or lagging? Lagging, say pass already, right? Why are you telling me this? I mean, you're just giving me bad news, right? Now, what are some leading indicators or questions that we can have before it happens to influence the quality of this? Give me examples.
Maybe zoom into the 2% that converted. Where did they come from?
Yeah.
Why were we able to close them?
Yeah.
And what led us to that version.
Yeah. All right. Very good. That could be that. Okay. Do you guys get it? The leading indicator questions, because conceptually, tactically, we can ask so many questions. Tactically, we can ask all these questions, and your teams will look at you with a blank stare. They say, oh my God, better start applying for another company. Right? There's so much stress, this guy is taking shit, right? Or as an entrepreneur, you take a look at these questions and you're stressed out. Oh my God. Convert the thinking, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to revenue engine, always ask yourself leading questions. Ask leading indicators, things that identify, right? Things that can be rectified, not things that cannot be rectified. So for example, on a day-to-day basis, sales and marketing can say, let's have a conversation about, quality of leads. We can change that, right? Let's talk about, sales demo, right? What am I actually presenting? We can change that, right? But you want to avoid having conversations that you cannot change. That's what we call lagging indicator, right? Now, leading indicator and lagging indicator was borrowed, right, from consulting. So consulting people, they do leading indicators, they do lagging indicators. They say, oh, profit is lagging, sales is a leading. right? Because in one quarter, every week I see a sales low, I can immediately take action so that this number can be adjusted, right? But if I'm only measuring profit, then I'm in for a big surprise, right? Because profit can only be measured after sales has gone through the funnel. So the answer to this is conceptually, is think of leading indicators that you can measure. Things that you can influence, curate these leading indicators for your team to have a conversation about daily, weekly, right? So in the days of old, 2023, marketing will do whatever they want for 1 week, and then sales will get on demo calls for 1 week, and they are not aligning. Maybe after a fortnight they align, right? Some organizations after a month they align, and then what happens is marketing will hate sales, sales will hate marketing, the boss will hate everyone because targets are not met, right? In revenue engine metaphor, right, we're saying sales and marketing, you guys are on the same thing, talk to each other daily. What are the results you guys want to measure? Make sure these results are leading, not lagging. That means you have an influence over it, right? So that there's no blame game also as well. So it's a perspective change.
Cost is a leading indicator.
Wow, cost, that's a good one. Cost is, in some places, cost is a leading indicator because you have influence over it, right? Yes, yeah, right? Cost can be a leading indicator. You have control over it. Yeah, you can have control over it.
I think the variable cost, yes, but the fixed cost.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, last one, ladies and gentlemen, right? Let's talk about data. Okay, I'm gonna talk about data. I'm gonna hold a bunch of metrics here. Okay, and then I'm not gonna explain any of them. Okay, right? They're really cool. Okay, so what I hope to do in this 3-hour class, of which I got like another half an hour, is if you want to know what data to learn about, most of them are here. You can Google them, right? Let's do reverse classroom. You guys go and learn, and then I'm not going to cover that, right? So things like cost per lead and all, right? What is important is this. In revenue engine is this, right? It's CAC to LTV. So this is where I want to spend a bit more time. So a bit more technical. So let's do a recap before we go into the data. Let's do a recap. Okay. What are some of the things that we've caught in today's class? Let's popcorn. Put it out here. Anyone? Right? If you guys don't give me more than 5, I will stay back. I'll ask you all to stay back. Right? I'm getting to like teaching now. Right? Yeah. I'll ask you guys to stay back. Right? I'm sure you guys want to stay back. Give me popcorn. What are the things that we've learned in today's class? Okay, Rev Gen, okay. Go, give me specifics. Give me nuggets. Okay, ICP, okay, what else? Okay, leading versus lagging, okay, very good, okay. Okay, 3 stages, okay, of the funnel, right, okay, what else?
AI should not be the decision maker, but rather strategies that work alongside you.
Sorry, what's that again, ma'am? AI, okay, AI, right, as a strategist, not decision maker, right, very good. But with that said, I also ask, I'm like for example, interpreting some results. I used to hire a data analyst for it, right? And now I'll just screenshot the results and I put it on Gemini. I say, tell me what it means, right? So yeah, so there's that also as well. What else? Anyone else? What have you gotten from today's class?
A lead is a lead. You got the rev gen, which is under rev gen, right? Because before it's marketing and sales.
Okay, so now it's combined, right? Now you got to start thinking about it as combined, right? In fact, now they are hiring in RevGen, in RevOps, technical people, not sales, marketing people. They are hiring technical people, comp science degrees, who create go-to-market sequences, right? It's very technical now, right? It's called go-to-market engineering, right? That's the latest buzzword now, right? And they are Claude. If I'm not wrong, Claude's go-to-market team has only got 1 person. Yeah. It was on the internet a couple of months back, right? Only 1 team on Claude's go-to-market engineering team. This guy, he develops sequences, right? But of course, I think behind the scenes, there's a few more vendors that they work with. Claude, a multi-billion-dollar company, and they've been growing 10x, not year on year, month on month. It's crazy, right? So what else? What else have you gotten? Okay, identifying the funnels, interviewing your ICP, knowing what your product is, all that kind of stuff, right? So these are things that we talked about. Now let's talk about this critical metric called CAC and LTV. Okay, what is LTV? Long-term or lifetime value. What does it mean? What does LTV stand for?
From the point a customer is logged, how much is giving sales on the entire life cycle or the product life cycle?
Fantastic, right? LTV is how much does the customer pay you, right, in the entire time by which he's going to stay with you as a customer, correct? Okay. Give me an example of a high LTV business. Yeah, insurance is a high LTV business, right? The guy pays a premium, depends on the plan you play, probably for life, right? Give me other examples of high LTV business.
Any service level agreement business is a high LTV business.
Sorry, what's that again, sir?
Service level agreements. When you sell a solution or a product, then say after 12 months you need to come to me a calibration. Every 12 months it has to be serviced.
Right.
No matter what, it has to come.
Correct.
Whether to me or to my competitor is another thing. It's a high lifetime value.
Correct, right? Those kind of businesses where you offer a service, right, with a service level agreement, right, where there are certain standards that has to be met, especially if it's covered by compliance, well, even better, right? Where it's so hard for you to move to a different company, right, to outsource it. Government projects, at least tend to be pretty good LTV. Maybe not Singapore, right? Singapore government not very loyal to you, right? After using you for 3 times, then they won't use you anymore, right? Because governance, right? Yeah, but Palantir, this company called Palantir, right? They provide, so if you want to buy Palantir stock, it's amazing, right? Palantir has got high LTV. They provide, I don't know what kind of services to the US military. So very hard to replicate. They've got very high moat, right? Lifetime value. Typically, in order for you to acquire a client with high LTV, right? Maybe we call it a high ticket item. Do we need to spend more or spend less? Yeah, so traditionally we think about it, right? If the guy is going to pay me lots of money, I need to spend more money to acquire this kind of guy. It's not easy, right? If I sell bubble tea, what is the LTV of a bubble tea customer? What's your favorite bubble tea brand? Chargy, right? What is the LTV of a Chargy customer? Let's calculate that. Our instinct might say low, but it might point otherwise. What is a Chargy drink, by the way? What's the average cost of a Chargy drink? $7? Okay. Typically, a person who likes to drink Chargy, how much does she? 3 times? Okay, young people, yeah, 3 times. Oh wow, 3 times, oh my god, right. Yeah, you could go easy, on the Chargy. Look at these young people, all right. Yeah, 3 people. 3, okay. So, okay. Okay, so we got ICP here, young person, ICP here, right? Are you agnostic to bubble tea brands or you like loyalists? Okay, based on your knowledge of your friends.
Every day lunchtime, they say, okay, let's go buy bubble tea. Just whether Chargy or not Chargy.
Okay. Okay, so Chargy said, okay, let's open up to as many retail outlets so that our brand is right in your face, right? So accessible. Let's say, so 3 per week, okay? Let's say, okay, how many weeks are there in a year? 52?
52.
Right, okay. Let's apply a discount now, right? So like for example, maybe they go to Chargy 50% of the time. The other 50% of the time they go to other outlets, okay? So let's put 50%, okay? And let's say, at what age do they start drinking, right? So maybe they start at maybe 12. That's why I got diabetes epidemic, right? And then they stop at I don't know, 45, right? Yeah, like middle age, starting to think about your health, right? Yeah. Then you start going to the gym, right, Philan, right? Because you're scared, So 12 to 45 lah. Okay. So someone do the maths for me. 45 minus 12. That's 33. Okay. Okay. So let's try this. Okay. LTV of a Chargy customer, 7 times 3, times 52 times 33 times 0.5. Can help me? Anyone can calculate for me? 7 times 3 times 52, right? Times 33, which means 33 years times 0.5 because the half. That makes sense, right? How much is that? Is that right? Is double check the figure? 18,000? 18, so lifetime value, okay lah, this is granted if Chargy stays in Singapore, from 12 for 33 years lah, likely they won't, right? But let's say they do, right? So lifetime value of acquiring one Chargy customer is 18,000. The assumption is they stay for 33 years lah. And this is discounting 50% at $7, right? You guys get it? So this is lifetime value. You guys get it? Right? So now you still look at bubble tea differently, right? Lifetime value 18,000. Maybe if you divide it by half, it's about 7,000. Look at the queues at Chargy. So maybe that explains how they expand. Okay, now the question that Chargy's team is going to ask is, how much do we spend? Now then again, it might be different, right? The Chinese company might just want to burn cash, right? They might be in need to market expand. They're strategic decisions, but here we're talking about business marketing decisions. So you talk about CAC LTV. Cost of acquisition is to long-term value. The sweet spot is about 1:3. That means what you're saying is that for every $1 that you spend to acquire the customer should be able to give you $3 back in customer lifetime revenue or value. Does that make sense? Okay, so 1:3. Now again, it's industry different, right? If you look at Chargy, when we do the maths, let's do the maths now. Let's do a cost of acquisition for Chargy, CAC. A bit more hard to do it, but let's try. What are some of the things that Chargy needs to spend on in order for them to acquire the customer? Okay, so venue, right? Space, plus.
They partner with celebrities.
Yeah, so they got marketing plans, right? So celebrity endorsements, okay, plus. Okay, yeah, plus cost of goods.
Some more CapEx, some more OpEx. So we cannot identify for FMCG company or three-chemical company at the initial stage that what will be the CAC. It will be available. It is a lagging indicator only. Maybe after 12 months or 6 months of the footfall, then they have the statistics. Then only this can be identified to the top. What they pay normally, these type of companies pay it on the top line, the sales side. Whether I want to charge it at 750, give a discount of 50 cents and then plug the customer for $7 like Starbucks. Starbucks will have 3 price ranges. Most of the FMCG company or the footfall of that or beverages company, no matter what in that line, they only start with the price, the top level. The cost is very difficult unless otherwise they are specialists in that industry for more than 2 decades. Even 2 decades company cannot identify what is the CAC. This formula of 1 to 3 is arbitrary.
Yeah, arbitrary, yeah.
Technology companies, they spend for 5 years, R&D they do for 7 years. One day they will hit the market.
Yeah.
Like a company called Zoom.
Yeah.
Nowhere, they were nowhere. But when the time comes, it's 1,000 times.
Yeah, 100%.
So the C to C is C to CAC is just like Hanta maybe, not very scientific. The only thing that can be scientific can be LTV based on my small experience.
Yeah.
The CAC is applicable because the cost of providing
Yeah.
service is too technical.
Yeah, don't agree. I don't disagree. Yeah, completely. Yeah.
Because there is two components.
100%. Yeah, there's OPEX, there's CAPEX, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Because some can be fixed cost and interchangeably changes. After COVID, whatever thought as a fixed cost has now become variable cost. Whatever thought as a variable cost now, it's dynamically changing day in and day out.
Right, 100%. Right.
So that's
Yeah. I don't disagree. NVIDIA CAC might be abnormally high, but the LTV is abnormally high as well, right? But then again, also as well, like for small, medium business owners or some of us who are embarking on ventures, we need to have a conceptual idea of CAC, right? Because that's like your common denominator. Yeah, I need something to measure against, right? If I don't measure results, if it's not tangible, if I can't measure it, I can't track it, then I can't measure whether it's working for me, right? So again, don't disagree. For big complex companies, the CAC can be really complex to calculate, right?
Earlier Pareto always comes in. Normally the chief people will come and say, okay, focus on these 20%.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, don't disagree. I don't disagree, right? So Chargy's components can be very complicated. So we can add those kind of elements, and then you divide it, right? And then you get your CAC. Now, in your businesses, right, you might want to attempt this as a benchmarking exercise. Where this is useful is for you to have a grasp of, am I spending too much or am I spending too little based on the industry that I'm at? Now, if you go to AI and you go Google CAC/LTV ratios for your industry, you get a good figure, right? They've done research, right? They can get good figures. But 1:3, right, is a good gauge. Okay, now this comes back to the question of how much should I spend? Right? Now, I can't give you an answer. Again, at small business SMB level, the question should not even be LTVs, how much do you have? Right? Then, if you got some spare success, you got some spare cash, and then you're thinking about, okay, I want to set aside money for marketing. For SMBs, usually that's a question, right? How much money should I set aside for marketing? It is a figure that can be quite hard to quantify, yes, no? Right? Especially for SMB, right? SME business. So one way to think about it is marketing cost is part of cost of acquisition, CAC. You must know what's your lifetime value. You map these two ratios out. If you get 1:3, that's great. Maybe that's at base level. Find out more about the CAC LTV values for your industry and then benchmark against that. So again, it's not about putting in a figure. It's about putting in a figure that works for the industry and for the brand, right, that you are trying to sell. Does that make sense? Right? This is to answer the growth engine question of how much to spend. How much to spend, right? Okay, so that's that. Okay? All right. That is data. So a couple of ways by which we can use data, right? So this is using sales data to refine marketing. Some of the actions, again, this is quite commonsensical. You guys can check this out. Track which channels produce highest converting leads, analyze lost deals, measure time to close, review customer success metrics. So these are some data that you can measure, and you should be measuring along the entire funnel, along the entire customer journey. Okay? All right. That's, I think that's about all. I've got one more last slide that I want to show you guys because I've got 15 more minutes. But maybe we can have some questions. Anyone?
Sorry, can I just ask this?
Yes, please.
On the flip chart, right? Are those all the things that we should be considering? Is there anything else we need to consider?
Which one?
On the flip chart,
Yes, here.
anything else we should be considering?
For long lifetime value?
The CAC.
Oh, there's a lot more. There's a lot more, right? Like, one of our participants, they said there's a lot of OPEX, operational expenditure. There's some CAPEX that you have to put in. In a big organization like Chargy, we got to ask ourselves how much of OPEX goes into acquiring a customer, right? It might be 100%, it might not, right? So there's a lot of stuff. But in your industry that you're selling, you can calculate this a lot easier because you're in control of the units. Like, for example, retreats, right, that you're in. What is the cost of acquiring that one customer? Maybe the cost of doing an event, the cost of social and SEO, SEM, those kind of stuff. Yeah, I answer your question? Okay, all right. Any questions before we end our class? Okay, these are a couple of truths that I kind of learned along the way, just to keep it real, right? Just to keep it real, like all these LTV conversations and all this, top of the funnel conversations. These are the couple of truths, and and at the heat of implementation, right? At the heat of execution, this is what I realized. That, I talk so much about ICP, but I've fallen into the trap by which I want quantity over quality. Does that sound familiar? Right? I talk so much about ideal customer persona or ideal customer profile, but what if I don't have a lot of ICPs? What if I'm in a market where the ICPs are not huge enough and I get discouraged by it, right? There's a natural inclination to have quantity over quality when it comes to lead gen, marketing, sales. You know, if you talk to any sales guy, he say, you know, the more leads the better. It's just you got to spend more shoe leather cost to convert it. So what I want to say is this, right? At the start, and this is not only for sales and marketing, this is also for company strategy. It's also for momentum. It's also for, you know, figuring out, right, what can work. Quantity might be higher than quality. You know, this is the truth. When I started out scaling my companies, there were times whereby I prioritized quantity and then made experiments there. Did you feel the same? You always talk about ICPs and all, right? Sometimes you just need M1. A big budget solves almost all problems. Yeah? You know, we're having this conversation because, you know, we are resource restrained, and that's the way to think, right? That's the way to think. But if you are in a company which has got a big budget, the next problem is, where do I allocate my resources? Which is a different question by itself, right? Which agency can help me with this? Which, etc., right? AI has completely changed the game. And I think if you guys sign up for the 2 full-day course that I'm hoping to develop together with this institute, we'll go a lot deeper down into AI tools. A couple of things that I want to check, I will ask you guys to check out and maybe get some response for you guys. What are AI tools that you guys are using? Huh? Okay, so Claude, this is AI, yeah, Claude. Right? Notebook LLM, okay, right? In the field of GTM, okay, there's this thing called clay.com. Very, very famous. Subscription is a few hundred a month, by the way. Do not use this if you do not have your own GTM sequence. All these AI tools are not going to be useful to you if you do not have your own sequence. If you don't have your own ICP, if you don't have your own process, you need to do these things up first before you ask AI to assist you, right? For lead gen, the most popular one is Apollo, apollo.io, right? I think I spelled Apollo wrongly, right? Apollo.io, lead gen platform. Subscription is about $80 a month, right? You get about 5,000 credits. 5,000 credits means you can get the number and email addresses of 5,000 people, right? This tool has gotten quite good because it has a limit cap. They tell you, last time, email tools, they said, okay, I want to sell 500 emails, you can send all 500 emails, right? Nowadays, email tools are telling you, no. You need to max sell only 50, send. Because anything more than that, the spam filters will detect. So they're actually taking care of you, right? The old email systems, they just whack 100, and then what happens is your email get blacklisted. So Apollo.io, if you guys do not know, might be a good one. Clay.com.
The Apollo, when they do lead gen for Singapore context, is quality.
You gotta test it out. Yeah.
Do you use for yourself?
Yes, I do. I use.
You have no complaints?
No complaints. Yeah. I mean, I had people asking me where I get the data from.
Does it give phone numbers also?
Yes, extra credits. Email is 1 credit, phone number is 7 credits. Yeah, that's how they make money, right? Yeah. So AI tools are powerful, but they can get really expensive fast if you do not know what you're doing. You got it? Right? Imagine if you do not know your ICP, you do not know what you're doing, you go into Apollo, you pay $80 a month, Sing dollars, right? And then you say, I just want to get numbers. In one day, you finish out your $80 credit. You know? And then you're no head, no tail. So figure out your ICP, figure out the process, right?
How much do you spend a month?
Me?
Yeah.
It's a trade secret. No, I spend about 200 a month. Yeah. Free plan and I add on credits. Yeah. All cold email, no cold calling. Yeah. Okay, so there are a couple of AI tools out there. So AI has completely changed the game. How can you explore AI if you have not? Just go to any LLM, ask them to type out. So the thing about AI is you must be contextual. You must give it info, right? Must be contextual. Give it as much info as possible, and then it will give you good garbage in, garbage out, right? So if you get awesome stuff, it will give you awesome stuff out also as well. At the core of revenue success is really a good product. You can't run away from that, right? At the core of a good revenue is a good product. That is the core of a business, isn't it? Right? What we are learning is actually economics 101, right? We are learning how to build a business. We are going to the tactics. But the core of a good product, the core of a good business is a good product. Problem is for revenue strategists like you, is that you cannot always go to the whiteboard and change product all the time. Right? It is what it is, you got to live with it, but you must know that the product must be good. The product must have value. And that's the reason why we do ICP. Because now you are forcing yourself to ask yourself, what is the value given? But the core of good revenue is a good product. All these conversations, you know, B2B, very B2B-ish, right? Enterprise sales is a different monster altogether. You sell to big companies, it's a different monster altogether, right? B2C is a different monster altogether, right? I mean, you got selling digital locks to direct to consumer. It's a different monster altogether, right? KV on influencer marketing, being very visible everywhere, right? The tone is different. B2B, B2C are the same, but they are different. What do I mean by that? The fundamentals are the same. The fundamentals is knowing who you want to sell to, knowing what you want to measure, knowing your lifetime value, knowing that there are 3 stages in this process, regardless of whether you're selling to an individual or to a company. They must know you, you must have a conversation with them, and then you must follow them to close the deal, right? The fundamentals are the same. Measure leading indicators, not lagging indicators, right? They are different because tactically, they are different. B2C, maybe tactically I'll spend budget elsewhere. Maybe I don't want to have enterprise salespeople, right? Maybe I have more marketing. And as a rule of thumb, if you're thinking about hiring a sales guy, hit a minimum rev first, right? The rule of thumb, a minimum rev of $1 million, then you bring in salespeople in. The first $1 million should be driven by the founder and entrepreneur, right? The first $1 million should be driven by the person who started the business and the core team. Because if you think that hiring someone is going to solve your revenue problem, then you are not going to succeed. It is your problem. It is not an external hires problem, right? And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys had a good time during the 3 hours. Thank you.